Check. Let me see something. Check. I know your mic's not on. Just don't. We're just check. Can you hear that?
I hear you, but I don't. Okay, there I am.
You can hear me, right?
Yep.
You hear that, right?
Yes.
Hang on a second, okay? Right?
Yep.
You hear that, right?
Yes.
Hang on a second, okay?
Yep.
That was the playback. Right?
Yep.
Give me a second. You hear that, right?
Yes.
Hang on a second, okay?
Yep.
That was the playback.
Let's get ready.
Right?
Yep.
Give me a second. You hear that, right?
Yes.
Hang on a second, okay?
Yep.
That was the playback.
Let's get ready.
Right?
Yep.
Give me a second. You hear that, right?
Yes.
All right. I don't know why. I don't know why, but that Hey, everybody out there in the Twitch world, can you hear me talking? Yeah, I know it's Ugats for sound right now, but can you hear me? Can you hear me talking? Because we're having serious technical difficulties, and I'm just trying to get through them. Okay, you can hear me. All right, so you can hear me. That's good. All right, good. Hang tight, guys. Can you hear this drop?
This is an outrage.
If you can hear the drop, let me know.
I can turn my mic on. See if you can hear me too.
Okay, they can hear the drop. All right, Tony, so here's the deal. For some reason, I can't play the open or the close. Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm going to play an open just from my – I'm going to give us just a generic open, and we'll bring it in that way. Okay?
Or I can just play this as the open.
What do you have?
Let's just roll it right now. We'll do it live.
Well, hang on a second.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are looking live at the remnants of a Monday Night Football Classic. Just when you thought the San Francisco 49ers New Orleans Saints game may have been the best game of the weekend, hopefully you are waiting till the very end of Monday Night Football in South Philadelphia, just a few stone throws away from here. Tony Bruno, Luigi Curto in the air everywhere.
Unreal, man.
We're going to the bowl, baby. The Birds. The Birds
here we
are
go.
going to the bowl.
Here comes the Super Bowl talk. We're back.
Oh, baby.
We're back.
Oh, what? They'll blow it in the playoffs.
Exactly
They
right.
will. They will. They'll blow it in the playoffs.
They're going all the way to Miami, baby. How about that Carson Wentz? And, of course, The world awakens on a Tuesday after Mr. Monday Night nails another one. I mean, that was taking money from a baby last night. I even made that pick last Thursday. I didn't even wait till Monday to make that selection. 9.5 points.
Boom.
Manna from heaven, baby. But I said the Eagles would find a way to win, but they would not cover the number. Little did I know that Eli Manning would go out there and light up the Eagles secondary, but that pretty much everybody does the last couple of weeks. I mean, if Ryan Fitzpatrick can burn them deep, why can't Eli Manning? And he did. But give the Eagles credit, Luigi. I know you don't like to give credit. You're a straight cash homie kind of guy yourself. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be me, brother.
Exactly right. Can you bring my machine back up?
I can
What are
bring
you
it up.
pulling, a Robin now?
What's that, Tony? No. I had it faded down because you were off your music. I just wanted to make sure that you were
No,
back.
it's off. I got it. I just wanted to.
Cash, homie.
Straight cash, homie.
Straight cash, homie.
Tony has done it again. I want winners.
He's got it, baby.
He's going to run them all?
Alrighty then.
Yes. All right, everybody. Hey.
How's everyone doing? Let's make some noise. Come on.
We're feeling pretty good right now, man. We're pretty good right now. Got to be feeling pretty good right now.
It is. Yes. Yes, Kirk. Yes, Kirk.
I got to be honest, man. I mean, look at the way Foles is playing that first half, Tony.
Foles.
I mean, not Foles. It looked
So
like
you
Foles.
got Foles
It looked
on
like
the mind.
It looked like Foles.
They don't
out
even
there
think
in
about
Jacksonville.
Foles in Jacksonville anymore right now.
He's an afterthought at this moment. Garner Minshew's the future over there.
Yeah, right. That's why they got absolutely boat raced again last week. And
Well, that's because the whole team quit, aside from Garner and
that
DJ
team
Chark.
stinks.
You look at Carson in the first half of that game, and you're going, "What the hell is going?" Like, no, this is the way it ends. This is the way it ends. Eli Manning and the hapless Giants come into town on a miserable, wet, soaking Monday night. All the fans are out there. It's already miserable enough as it is. And they go out there and they lay a turd in the first half. Can't move the ball for nothing. Ronald Darby's out there getting torched. It was horrible. You couldn't tackle anyone. Darius Slayton, who was drafted 29 picks after J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, is torching the Philadelphia secondary. And we're sitting there on our hands going, what the hell is going on out there?
Exactly. I think. Listen, let's be honest. The Eagles were horrible. They were the Houston Texans on Sunday.
Yes, they were. Tony.
Except the difference was they're down 17-3. They played horribly. They were lifeless. The stadium was dead. Nobody was into it. The ABC, the ESPN guys were too busy playing the Book of Eli and stroking the New York media.
Oh God, was that horrible?
I mean, that's the problem with New York media. New York media finds a way to try to placate the New York fan base. The Giants stink. The Jets stink. And yet they're deep in their hearts. They're rooting so hard for New York. Listen, I gave Eli a lot of credit. I say he's a Hall of Famer.
He's in.
He's in the Hall of Fame. The numbers are there. 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Now, he's one game under 500 in his career. You know why? You know who else is under 500 in the career? Joe Namath.
Yeah. Joe Namath's stats are terrible. They're terrible. The thing is, though, is that he went out there and did something that no one else ever did. He guaranteed they would win a Super Bowl, and he did.
Exactly. So there are people in the Hall of Fame who don't have unbelievable numbers. But Eli Manning is 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 16 years in the league.
Yeah, this ain't Joe off the street, by the way.
Exactly.
And S Falcone 39 says it was Eli's last game ESPN had to. I don't think it was Eli Manning's last game.
No, remember, the Eagles have to play the Giants again in Week 17.
That will be the Eli Bowl. That will be the slap
Exactly.
it up, rabbit, lather it as much as you possibly can, and grab a hold of your Eli stick because you're going to get it shoved down your throat for the entire 4-hour broadcast.
Because
of that
everybody,
game.
and I've been saying this for weeks, the Cowboys and the Eagles have been taking turns stinking it up, right? The Cowboys have lost to some bad teams.
Yes.
They lost to the Jets. They've lost to a lot of bad teams.
And you can't even say they're going to get right against Miami anymore because Miami's playing inspired football.
But they've got
Tony.
the Rams, so now the Cowboys, so the Eagles, this is like a chess game, actually like a bad checker game. And the Eagles win a game that they're supposed to win, and they come from behind, and you got to give the same, because I'm not blaming Doug Peterson for the personnel problems on this team. I'm blaming Howie Roseman and the people who are supposed to know what they have. I don't know what Doug's responsibility is as far as not having more than 2 active receivers last night. They knew Alshon wasn't 100%. He pulls up lame. I mean, when you look at this, and for all the Wentz bashers out there, this guy had virtually nobody available in the second half.
No.
He had practice squad guys. He had practice, man. We're talking about the practice squad. The practice squad. 3 guys who weren't even on this roster a month ago came up big. And that's what the Eagles haven't been doing all year. This is what they did in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
The next guy up mentality worked back then. Foles was the next guy up at quarterback. He came right in and kept the thing going. Remember, Wentz had him at 11-2, which people conveniently forget. Nick Foles doesn't have a chance to take the reins and take him to the Super Bowl and win if Carson Wentz isn't having an MVP season at 11-2.
And don't forget how poorly he played against Oakland in that game on New Year's Eve day. Remember?
Exactly.
He played horrific, and everyone was saying, well, this is it. It's over. Nick Foles can't do it. And then by some magic, poof, voila, Nick Foles is able to turn it into a magical Super Bowl run. But again, Tony, we could say all this stuff like that, and he was Carson Wentz was deprived of all of his targets.
And what did he do last night?
What did he do? He went out there and went to the well, Tony. He went the good old 86.
But not just that. How about Boston Scott? Boston Scott, 59 yards rushing on 11 carries, 6 catches, 69 receiving yards. Greg Ward had 4 catches.
Who the fuck is that guy?
34 yards. Josh Perkins, the tight end off the practice squad. All 3 of these guys. No, not Sam Perkins. And not Perkins Pancake House, where
I've yet to go to a Perkins. There was a Perkins on Welsh and the Boulevard, Tony, but that's closed down now.
that was where Tiger Woods got a lot of his action back in the day. That
I
led to his
had a
down.
few things,
Josh Perkins. Josh Perkins had 5 catches for 37 yards, including a big 13-yard grab on that final drive in overtime. Now, again, I know this is the Giants. See, this is the problem with people who break down games or anybody who has an opinion on anything is, well, it's a 2-9 Giants.
Right.
You're supposed to beat them.
No.
You're also not supposed to fall behind them 17-3. And so nobody, the people who don't want to give Wentz credit for anything, he looked off. But it wasn't about, and I watched Dan Orlovsky today, and I know a lot of people don't like him, but he's arguing with Max Kellerman, who doesn't know if a football is stuffed or inflated.
With all due respect to Max Kellerman, he needs to stick to boxing because he's setting white people back centuries talking about the NBA and the NFL, okay?
Exactly.
Seriously.
So anyway, again, that's his opinion. But Dan Orlovsky is showing the first half of Carson Wentz throwing some balls low and watching guys not be able to make plays, and he wasn't making plays, and he was getting sacked, and he was getting pressured, and he looked terrible out there. But it wasn't all on Wentz because the guys he was throwing to weren't making any plays either.
Correct.
So then in the second half, they come out, and they then shut down. They make defensive adjustments, and then they shut down the Giants and Eli the rest of the way, and Wentz has to rely on guys who wouldn't even be you look at rosters last night. That's why this is a huge win for Wentz, not only because it keeps this team alive onto an eventual maybe chance to win this division, and it's still not over. They still have to go to Washington and beat them. They have to beat the Giants again, and they have to beat the Cowboys. And their only hope right now to make it easier is for the Cowboys to continue to shit the bed like they have. Because they've got to play the Rams now, who, oh, by the way, are playing better. So while both of these teams have found ways to it's like a tennis match with 2 bad players. Somebody gets the serve, and then they get a point. The next person then can't finish it off.
Aravante receiver.
Let's be honest. The Dallas Cowboys are the only reason the Eagles are still alive in this thing. The Eagles have to win these games, but the Cowboys choking it away, playing like crap at home and on the road, shitting the bed on Thanksgiving Day. You look at the Cowboys last 3 games. They've been horrific.
Oh, horrible, Tony. Horrible.
They've been as dead as the Eagles were in the first half last night. They've been as lifeless as the Eagles were in Miami 2 weeks ago.
Now, I'm surprised that a guy like Jason Garrett right there wasn't just fired but not assassinated on the 50-yard line by Jerry Jones after the last loss.
And so you got to give, first of all, I'm not giving the organization any credit. Because whoever's making these, I know Howie Roseman's been under fire, but the Eagles last week, they got rid of 2 guys who really did nothing for them.
Jordan Matthews,
they brought him in here for a couple of weeks. This is the problem with going back to people that you knew. They brought back, what's his face, the running back.
Jay
Ajayi, who's got nothing left.
Yeah, he's completely shot.
He's shot, right? So you got Jay Ajayi who can't do anything. They brought him back because he was here for the Super Bowl team. He tore his ACL last year. He's not the same guy. Running backs lose it faster than anybody.
Yep.
Especially when you have knee or leg injuries. They're done.
He already had chronic knee issues before he even got here.
Exactly.
The Eagles signed him literally, no pun intended, on his last leg for the Super Bowl run. They got every bit and ounce of juice out of Jay Ajayi that he had left.
Yeah,
and now unfortunately he's done.
He is done. And so what did the Eagles have to do? They had to go and give Doug Peterson some credit too. Now, if Doug Peterson was the guy responsible for only bringing in 3 receivers for Monday night after they got rid of Jordan Matthews and guys who were supposed to know the system and been around here,
and
and
Matt
really,
Collins got
and Matt Collins who contributed virtually nothing.
Nothing.
And the fact that Carson was not comfortable with these guys either. He tried to throw a couple times to Jordan Matthews, but that's the 3rd time they brought him back here. So what do they rely on last night? And this is why I think this is an impressive win. A, because they needed to win, and it keeps them alive. And it keeps our bus trip alive.
Oh, that's the biggest.
That's the biggest. Thinking of this selfishly. Imagine if they lose that game, and then we're trying to get all jacked up to jump on a luxury bus on Sunday morning to go down to Washington to watch the Eagles and Redskins.
It's not good.
No.
It's not
but luckily,
good.
it's, now that's alive. Fans, they just want to see their teams keep playing. And the Eagles found a way to win, and Carson Wentz was great in the second half. He wasn't good.
No, he was great.
He was great in the second half. And when we talk about signature wins, beating a 2-9 team should really not be considered a signature win. What Jimmy Garoppolo did, that was a signature win for him as he makes his way up the food chain to becoming elevated as the team to beat with San Francisco.
Yeah, he's starting to climb
in
that
the
ladder.
NFC. And the same thing, Drew Brees has done it a lot of times. Garoppolo needed to get that big win on the road, get the winning drive. Carson Wentz had to put together a couple of drives. When he started moving around, they had him rolling out, and then he starts finding guys.
Yeah, and as Mayfair Murph checks in, though, that key play, Tony, was that 3rd down holding call on the Giants' defensive back. If not for that, the game was over. The game was over, basically. The Eagles got lucky there. They
had a touchdown pass. They had a the one play they had called back. The touchdown they had called back. Remember? And they miss a field goal.
Yeah.
Or they go up 3, and then that touchdown at the end is for the win. The point is, they found a way to win the game. Their defense played better, and the Eagles' offense with a bunch of ragtag guys who a month ago, one guy was in the AAF. Boston Scott was unbelievable last night.
Yeah, he was unbelievable.
Greg Ward, he didn't have a lot of big plays, but he still went in there and contributed. Because remember, they were down to 1 receiver at the end of the game.
What are they going to do now going forward? Because Alshon goes down too. They got to get somebody.
The bad news is, and according to Doug Peterson, who spoke to the media today at noon, it doesn't look good for Alshon Jeffrey. So he's probably not going to be able to play. You saw him. He was limping around. And now you got no Alshon. We don't know what Aguilar hopefully will play. But, they've got to rely on these guys. They've got to rely on Boston Scott and Greg Ward and Josh Perkins. And obviously they've relied on Zach Ertz, who was the difference maker last night. Yeah. I mean, he had to be, he was last night. And Carson was getting the ball to him with regularity in that second half. No. And the Giants knew he's the one guy they had to stop.
Yep, without question. He's the one guy you had the key on. And the thing going forward with the Eagles is, with all the injuries they do have banged up on the outside, again, Deshaun, you may get him back if there's a playoff rush. Alshon's going to be out at least a couple weeks here.
And there's only a couple weeks left.
The offense has got to funnel through the tight end. So at this point, Zach Ertz has got to go out there and basically own that moniker of being one of the best tight ends in the NFL. And Dallas Goedert's got to step up, Tony.
Yep.
And he has got to be the guy that they drafted to be the heir apparent to Zach Ertz in the next year or two. Because, again, they can't work the outsides. They don't have any speed. The Eagles have no speed. They are the slowest team in the NFL. So the only way you can combat that is
Miles Sanders has some speed.
No, but what I mean is, though, is on the outside.
Yeah,
wide
exactly.
receivers. They have no speed. So the way to combat that is you do inside. So you use your tight ends inside, and that opens up the running game and gets these D-backs off. So again, you got to be able to take these tight ends, put them inside, run them deep routes. You can't just have them these little short.
And there were a lot of 20-plus yard gains last night.
And I'm glad that Doug is finally starting to see this, and he's using it to his advantage, because that's where the advantage is. Remember, Tony, a while back when you go back to the Patriots days, when they had Gronk and Hernandez. That's all they were doing. They were going to the tight ends all day long. They were just busting the seams and then running the ball up the middle all day long. But they weren't running these tight end routes where they were running these little 3-4-yard drags. No, they were running 20, 30-yard post routes because they had the athletes out there go do it. Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert are more than capable of doing so. That's the way they should be doing it. The offense should just completely go through those two players.
Now, Doug Peterson was asked today about the game for Carson Wentz last night, where this ranks. And his quote was, "I would think this would have been his number 1 game in the 4 years he's been here. To be down the way we were and missing a right tackle and another receiver, and in those conditions, I think that's the best he's played." And the reason why I would agree with that is because this saves their season. He, once again, now he had to carry them in the second half. Because if he doesn't play well in the second half, they don't come back and win the game. He had to make the throws. He had to roll out and avoid sacks. He didn't fumble the ball. He didn't throw an interception.
Right.
And so you got to give it to Carson Wentz. That was a big performance last night. And he also had the fans booing him, justifiably so. And he's got the entire NFL and all the talking head experts saying he sucks and he's regressed and he can't play anymore. He was dropping dimes last night.
Yes, he was.
In crucial situations. And so you got to give Carson Wentz some love for that. Am I putting him in the Hall of Fame? No, but that's a huge win. Because if they don't come back in the second half, people are doubting again Carson Wentz are the Eagles a Super Bowl team? Of course not. No one thinks they're going to go and all of a sudden go on a run again.
Well, there's some people out there that have those glasses on still. But what this win did was, again, this was a concrete win for him. It was one of those games where this was literally a must-win scenario, and he came back.
Every week's going to be a must-win scenario.
But he came back and won the game from being down. It wasn't like he left the field with the lead and the defense lost it for him. He came back and brought them back by himself, virtually by himself.
Yes, he did. And he had Boston Scott, they saw the spark plug as soon as he made that first run. Everybody, you could see the entire stadium was feeding off of that. They were like, wow, Boston Scott. Because, a couple weeks ago, they were afraid to give him the ball. They were afraid to use him in punt returns because he's a little guy who fumbled.
Right.
Last night, Carson Wentz and Boston Scott were the two spark plugs going forward on third down and fourth down and making big plays. Scott did it, and then it seems like everybody woke up once they realized, let's get into a rhythm again. Let's get people involved. We don't have a lot of guys out there who are NFL star players. Oh, by the way, these are the guys we've had sitting around here for the last couple of years and didn't realize what we had until we put them out there.
You got
Is that amazing?
These guys a chance, man.
Practice squad, man.
Practice squad boys. We say all this, but Andy Reid said it the best, Tony.
Okay, don't worry about it. Enjoy the win, man.
Enjoy the win, man.
Yeah.
This is a big one. This is a huge one. And again,
the three practice squad guys combined for 199 yards.
Yeah, that's huge.
199 yards from guys who were basically
a virtual who the F is that guy.
Exactly. So you got to give him credit. And this is what the next man up mentality means. Last night, they had nobody left.
But can we officially say the one thing, though, as far as the next man up goes, that can we officially just say Jason Peters is done? He's done.
But they know he was going to be done. That's why they drafted Andre Dillard to get him some reps up there.
Yeah, but I think
you saw when Lane Johnson went out, Vaitai struggled a little bit last night. And give the Giants pass rushers credit. They were blowing through the Eagles' offensive line early in the game. They put a lot of pressure on Carson Wentz in the first half.
Do we have an update on Lane Johnson, by the way, at all on his injury?
I'm
Tony?
looking for the. Okay. I'm scrolling through the because Doug, of course, had his press
carnage bin.
Now, Alshon, it doesn't look good.
Right.
At least for next week and probably for the season and maybe for his career. But you have situations with the Eagles now where certainly they don't have a lot of healthy bodies.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with Lane Johnson. I'm trying to find it again. I got to go and get the
R. Fitz-G says the Steelers starting offense is practically all practice squad guys. We talked about that yesterday, Tony. We talked about how well.
I said that they have the coach of the year right now.
Oh, yeah, well, Mike
Tomlin's coach of the year in the NFC. In the AFC,
in the AFC for sure. In the NFC, I think we got to lean towards Kyle Shanahan and what he's done with the San Francisco 49ers. But at the same time, we talked about that yesterday, how well the Pittsburgh Steelers do in drafting. You're talking about next man up. This guy's, it's not just next man up for them. It's next man up for them. They're on B-level squad guys.
Exactly.
Who are coming in and paying dividends for that team.
So while everybody's laughing, oh, big deal, you beat a 2-9 Giants team. The Eagles suck. Carson Wentz sucks. These are people that don't watch the game.
Mayfair Murph checking in, and he says, Tony, is it time that they make a call to the NFL and ask about Antonio Brown?
Well, it depends on what his mental state is on this particular day.
What's your mental state?
This guy, you want to talk about it, because my mental state is pretty bad. Your mental state is bad. A lot of us are going through stuff.
Yep.
But you know what? Antonio Brown goes from one day torching the entire league, torching everybody in it, to apologizing, and now just basically taunting everybody again. So I think you worry about this guy's mental breakdown. Not mental breakdown. He's already had those.
Right.
You worry about his mental capacity to play. You know he's physically gifted. But when you see what the messages he sends, literally he is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde on Twitter. He's basically exposing himself every day, scaring teams away who may need, the Eagles desperately need a talent. But he is scaring teams away with his erratic behavior. He needs to get the hell off Twitter. He is definitely schizo. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, he's a little schizophrenic. And, again, we're not going to badmouth anyone with any kind of issues. But
No.
at the same time, though, like you said, Tony, he's got a ton of talent in those cleats. And the Eagles desperately need someone. And at this time, you got to look at it. You got to go, is the juice worth the squeeze? And I think it might behoove the Eagles to go ahead and pick up the phone and call and ask about the availability. That's all. Just to bring them in, have a conversation, a cup of coffee, maybe take them over to Termini's over there on 8th Street, have a cannoli.
Make him take him to good. Don't take him to the tourist spots though. Don't take him up the rocky steps.
No.
Don't do any of that crap.
No. Take him to Termini's, have a cannoli,
Exactly.
a nice cup of coffee. Sit down, relax, talk about. Say, hey, B, where you at, man? How you feeling? You want to come play for us for a couple games, see how it goes?
You feeling me, bro?
If you feeling me, I'm feeling you.
Because you know what we're thinking about here, AB?
We're talking about playoffs.
Playoffs?
Yes, that's what we're talking about.
Playoffs?
Yes, playoffs.
You kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding.
Playoffs?
What the hell's going on out here?
I hear you.
Playoffs. Come on, man. Playoffs. You got to be out of your skull. I'll tell you what, though, man.
Where's Freddie Mitchell when we need him most?
Freddie Mitchell, the people's champ, being people's chump.
He'll be at some garage door opening this weekend.
Tax season's approaching, Tony. He's probably crawling into a cave right now. What a freaking... You're talking about a crumb bum. Seriously.
You're a crumb creep coward.
Yeah, he is.
By the way,
Stevie V saying, take him to Luke Turks. Yeah,
Luke
take him
Turks out there. We'll take him to all the joints. And by the way, Carson Wentz, if you're scoring at home, did you have him in fantasy last night?
No, but I know someone who did and needed him desperately to pull off a miracle, and it didn't happen, though, Tony.
What do you mean? 325 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions,
Yeah,
33 of 50?
No, he was getting his ass kicked already, though. That's the problem. He couldn't catch up in fantasy-wise. But no, he was a hell of a play for fantasy, though.
I'd say if you had Carson Wentz on your fantasy team.
He helped you, yes.
Okay, that's all I want to know.
Yes.
I don't know what helps or hurts anymore watching this stuff.
I know what hurts. Everything hurts.
Jalen hurts, of course, but hey, we're going to see that in the college football playoff, which we will not be covering in the near future.
No?
Well, when it gets closer.
Of course.
They could have a month off. College football is the only sport that takes off a month before they determine the champ. Now, I know they got the games coming up, the bowl games, but they're all going to be in the holiday season. And then there's 39 of them. And
39 this year, okay.
Yeah. There should only be like 12 of them, but
12
hey,
balls only count, yeah.
Kids want to travel to Shreveport, Louisiana in the winter. Nobody knows. Nobody understands that. Meanwhile, Zach Ertz, by the way.
Speaking of bowls, yeah.
People are talking about whether Eli's a Hall of Famer. I say he eventually gets in.
Yep.
You know who else is working his way toward the Hall of Fame, too?
Well, who's that, Tony?
Zach Ertz.
Yeah. See, we were talking a little bit.
Not right now. I'm talking about when it's over. And you think he's done. I think he's got 3-4 good years left.
Oh, no, I didn't say
minimum.
he was done. But the stat that you gave me kind of opened my eyes up a little bit, because when you gave me these two names and what they've done and where they're going, well, one's already in, the other one will be in. It's pretty impressive.
Zach Ertz has played 104 games in his NFL career. Last night was the 19th time in his career that he had 9 catches or more in a game. So 104 games, 19 times he's had 9 catches, which means obviously he's one of Carson's favorite targets. There's only 2 other guys in the history of the NFL at the tight end position who have had more 9-catch games than Zach Ertz.
We should open this up, Tony. We should open this up to the phone call. 215-462-TONY, 215-462-8669. I'll tell you what, if someone can answer that question that lives in the Philadelphia
It's pretty
area,
common now. They posted it last night.
Is that true?
They had it on the screen last night. I knew about it before. I had it on the pregame last night over at Landmark.
I was about to give away a fabulous prize.
What do you have to give away?
$50 gift cards and moonshine, brother.
Oh, really?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I was about to give away fabulous prizes, but apparently this is all common knowledge now. So
now listen, I'm not comparing him to the up-and-coming tight ends.
No.
I'm not comparing him to Kittle. Kittle's only been around a year and a half, 2 years.
And he's already supplanted himself as the best.
Yeah, so right now he's the best. I'm talking about the reason you get into the Hall of Fame is a body of work.
Consistency, Tony.
Zach Ertz, I mentioned, that's pretty amazing. 104 games, 19 times has he caught 9 or more balls.
Yeah,
only 2 other guys have done it.
It's 14, 16% of the time.
Have more games with 9 or more catches.
And those players are
in the Hall of Fame. One's in the Hall of Fame. One is a Hall of Fame.
One's
lock.
going in as soon as he's got to wait the time.
Absolutely. You know who they are?
Yeah, because you told me. But why don't you go ahead and tell the folks?
Tony Gonzalez It took Tony Gonzalez 270 NFL starts, and he was absolutely a monster, right?
Well,
it took him 270 games to have nine catches 25 times.
No, he was an absolute.
So in 275 games, he had 9 catches or more 25 times in his career.
Which is 6 more currently than Zach Ertz. But he's played 100 and how many more games?
He's played 164 more games.
Jeez.
So more than double the amount of games. Now, that doesn't mean, because a lot of times tight ends don't get that many balls to be caught. You know, a lot of times they're in the end zone. They're not the go-to guy. Jason Witten was a go-to guy, just like Jay Novacek was before him in Dallas. He was that safety blanket. He wasn't the run down the field, get wide open. Witten has been the guy who moved the chains, made the tough catches, always found a way to get open, still is at his age in Dallas. He's a lock Hall of Famer. And he has 21 games.
Okay.
21 games where he had 9 or more catches, and he's playing now is 252 games into his career. So Gonzalez had 25 games with 9 catches or more. Witten has 21 games with 9 catches or more, and Ertz has 19 games with 9 catches or more.
Well, he's going to surpass Jason Witten. He could possibly do that this season. Will he surpass Tony Gonzalez in that? I don't know. That's left to be determined. That's a lot of catches, man. That's a lot of games with 9+ catches. That's not easy to do, especially if, like you said, Tony, for a tight end, and Zach Ertz, who's out there blocking a lot of times too. So we'll see if he catches Tony Gonzalez, but he should catch Jason Witten.
But see, this isn't one of those, touchdown catching. Because, by the way, Carson Wentz right now, the much maligned Carson Wentz, now is the only quarterback in the NFL, because Russell Wilson's streak ended.
Mm-hmm.
They both were tied for consecutive games throwing at least 1 touchdown. And Wentz threw 2 of them last night. It didn't look like he was going to throw any at one point. And then he throws 2 of them, one in overtime that won it, and the one earlier in the fourth quarter. So Wentz has now thrown a touchdown pass in 16 consecutive starts. The only quarterback right now, he has the longest active streak of throwing at least 1 touchdown pass. 16 consecutive games with a touchdown pass for Carson Wentz, who stinks, according to douchebag talking heads on television.
He doesn't stink. It just looked like, again, it looked like he regressed a little bit this season. He had a lot of things going on, and it looked like the wheels were completely falling off for the guy, man. It just really did. It looked like everything was just going south, and then what does he do? He comes out there and plays arguably, I would say, the best half of football he's ever played in his entire life, Tony, at the most opportune time where he needed to do it.
And considering his cast of characters.
Again,
that
right.
made it even
Factor
more impressive.
everything in.
Yep.
The elements which were there, right? He had a 14-point deficit to overcome. He's on the biggest stage, right?
Yep.
He's hearing boos from 40,000 people plus who still stayed there to boo him, because I think a lot of people there didn't leave because of the rain. I think they stayed to boo. He had injuries on the offensive line, left side and right side. Running backs were giving him nothing, and he's throwing to a skeleton crew.
And remember, the Giants,
Come on, man.
The one thing the Giants had going for them coming in is that they were good against the run. They were a top 5 run defense. So the Eagles knew they were going to have a hard time running. So when you can't run against a team, even a 2-9 team, you have to throw the football. And that's what made the Wentz performance in the second half and the adjustments made that much more impressive. Again, I know it's a 2-9 team, but those are the games you have to win. If they win the Miami game last night, then they're really in a good spot to win the NFC East. Again, is the team that wins the NFC East going to do any damage in the postseason? Probably not. It's a laughable. You look at it, nobody's over 500. It's a joke. It is the NFC least. And we've had this happen over the years where we call the NFC East the NFC least, but I don't ever remember it being this bad top to bottom. Tony? Yes.
Sorry, Tony. I'm going to try the phone lines again. People couldn't hear me. So I want to go to the phones real fast. 215-462-TONY, 215-462-8669. And I just want to see who's on the line right now.
Let's go to the phones.
Caller, are you there?
It's Blind Mike, my brother. What's up?
Hey, Blind Mike, what's going on up in the mountain? You getting snow up there or rain?
Well, it snowed a little bit, but but we had snow last weekend, like when we had that storm. What was it? When we had a couple weeks ago, but it's mostly rain up here. It's not that cold yet, but
I'm waiting for the blizzard. I got to run out to Acme later on today and get all the provisions. I'm low on toilet paper. I need milk, butter, eggs. Well, I don't need eggs. I got a fresh dozen of free-range eggs from my son's farm down there in Maryland.
We ain't got
over
no
the weekend.
water. We ain't got no water.
I need water. I got to buy 16 cases of water to piss off all the people who are going crazy about the climate and plastic bottles and all that shit. And then we got our mayor, Jim Kenney, signing a bill today so Philadelphia can help defeat climate change. They can't defeat anything in this town. The only thing they can defeat is statues and bullshit. Oh, I'm glad Jim Kenney signed a resolution today that makes Philadelphia one of the leading cities. The city that has filth. The sewers are clogged with cans and bottles and excrement. But we're going to lead the way in climate change in Philadelphia when we can't even keep people safe on the streets and 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds are being shot every night. But let's worry about climate change, Jim Kenney. Yeah, that's a real big problem in this city. Moron.
Yeah, right. I came down there a couple months ago, and I walked into a Wawa, and I had to get some smokes, and I'm walking 11 something for a pack of smokes along with that soda tax. I'm going, you guys crazy? It was like $3 for a 20-ounce Pepsi. And like, are you guys crazy?
It's not me, man. That's the mayor. That's our mayor. That's my mayor. I don't say not my mayor, though, because it doesn't make any sense. Unfortunately, he is my mayor.
He is your mayor.
So if I hashtag not my mayor, does that make him not my mayor?
You know, we're supposed to be happy today.
I am.
What
very
are
happy.
you doing here,
Yeah,
man?
I'm very happy.
I'll tell you what happened. This is what's so. Last night, I'm sitting here, and it gets to be. I'm one of these people. I believe in like the psychological effect of the game. So, and it gets to be halftime, and it's like 17-3. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, it's only 2 touchdowns, but inside, it felt like it could have been 4 because it was the way we were playing. Like it was such a dumpster fire.
It was a literal dumpster fire, I believe.
Yeah, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And then by the time we got to
you have a literal dumpster fire.
Exactly.
Things were going better. We'll put it this way: it was so. I went to get up to get a cup of coffee when we got into the overtime and stuff, and it was such a crazy game that when I was walking back into my room and I had my full hot cup of coffee. I hear Merle, he's back. Hey, look, he's back. I literally, when they called the touchdown, I almost dropped those full cup of coffee. Then I wonder why I couldn't sleep that well last night. And I was trying to talk to some girl on Messenger.
Hey,
Oh, yeah, you get a little action,
that's
huh?
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
By the way, I have breaking news now from the New York Jets high-speed Jets wire. According to Sports Illustrated, which used to be a magazine, Le'Veon Bell was reportedly seen bowling Saturday night after being ruled out of the Jets-Dolphins game. How about that?
No way.
Yep. He went up. He was supposed to have. I was listening to Florio this morning. I listen to Florio every morning. So I had Florio and that whole crew.
We have another Andrew Bynum situation on our hands, Tony. Remember the Sixers?
Oh yeah, he was. He went bowling and he went to the Buffalo Billiards on Chestnut Street a lot.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's what happened. I was listening to Florio this morning. They were talking about it. He missed the team bus and all that stuff. All these guys. He's supposed to be sick and all this stuff. And because Florio said, when I was a kid, when I was sick, I was only let out 2 places when I was sick: the hospital or a doctor's office. And here he's out bowling at 10:30 at night when he's supposed to be home with the flu. And all these guys are getting ready for having meetings and staying in hotel rooms and stuff. Oh yeah, I heard that was all over the place this morning.
Yeah, guys. I mean, the thing about modern day athletes, you can't hide. I mean, if you're going to go out in public to unless you have a bowling alley in your house, which very few people do, you're not going to go to a bowling alley and not be seen the night before a game where you've told everybody you're too sick to play, but you're okay to go to a bowling alley. I mean, that's why both New York teams are shit shows. The Jets are a disaster. At least they have a quarterback. I mean, Danny Dimes, I don't know why they call him Danny Dimes. He's only got 2 wins in his career.
Exactly.
That's the point about New York. Everything's
Danny
overhyped in New York. So, I mean, if you're good in New York, you're a king. If you suck in New York, it's just a joke.
Keep saying he should be Danny Penny. You keep saying Penny. My dog's gonna come downstairs.
I know. Where is Penny right now? Penny's in the house, chilling.
Penny.
I can go for some penne right now.
That's what I was gonna name her. Penny. Yeah.
A little vodka sauce in there. Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
No, I want a nice white truffle sauce with some dry sage on there.
You're making me hungry now. Come on.
Oh, there
man.
she. I hear the leash. Penny.
Tutti a tavola a mangiare.
Exactly.
She's hearing the food too.
You guys are making me hungry, and there's no places like that up here, man. It's all I have these. The pizza. The pizza's not there. There's like one good pizza place up here that has that Lorenzo style pizza with the the New York style.
Oh man.
Yeah, but that's about it. Everybody else is overrated.
Where are you at? Where are you at, Mike?
He's up in.
I'm in Shamokin, which is.
Oh
like
God, I feel bad for you, my friend. I know where Shamokin is. I know where Shamokin is. My poor mother. My poor mother just moved to Somerset, PA, which is just outside of Pittsburgh, and she's already saying. She goes, Luigi, I can't get a decent slice anywhere. I'm like, well, you moved to Yinzer country. What'd you expect?
No, but do you know where Shamokin is? Like it's up.
I do know where it is.
I went smoking up there in Shamokin.
Right. I used to tuck a hoe in up there. You know what I mean? He's laughing. All right, Mike. Well, listen, man. Good to talk to you, brother. I got the other phone lines burning up.
All right, go Bird.
Have a good one. There is go Bird.
Go Bird.
Yeah, go Bird. We got a little ball.
We got a little ball.
We got a little ball. Yeah.
We're going to go right to Trevor from the 203, Tony.
Why? Oh, no, there he is. Was he here last night sitting in the rain?
He was driving in it.
I am driving in the rain, and I was sitting in the rain last night as well.
Beautiful,
that was
man.
abomination of a first half, and I was ready. I texted the girl. I told her, I was about to say, you can have the division. It's like she texted me, like, you want the division or do you want the division? I was like, I don't know. So, I'm amazed. No one's playing for me today. Well, the Jets not to come play wide out any time of the week, I like to say right now. Look, give us some wide receiver gloves. And also, maybe, I know Carson's married, he's got a kid on the way, but give him a Pornhub account to calm it down on the sex a little bit. Or give you some old vivid videos you have, Tony. Am I right?
Absolutely. I got plenty of product for him. Although I'm understanding now, I haven't been on the internet. Why porn is now a big topic on the internet. I don't know why. What happened?
What do you mean
what
now?
Did I miss?
What do you mean
no,
now?
I mean, it's now like banning it. Or I don't know what's going on out there. Everybody in the cancel culture's got something to complain about. The Peloton commercials, porn. I don't know what's going on.
How dare you?
How dare you? Right.
How dare you? Tony, if they ban porn, they might as well shut down the internet. Forget it.
We will never forgive you.
Exactly
we will
right,
never
Greta.
forgive them. No, never.
The internet will go on fire if porn is banned for life. Everyone will lose jobs.
So Trevor,
danger, your lust, yeah.
How was the feel out there in tailgating for the Eagles game? Was everyone undercover, hanging out underneath the awnings, or were they out there in the elements with the pop-up tents?
Me and my buddies, we decided to stick it out, be men, be in the rain, and rub elbows with the common people, not go undercover like a bunch of pansies did.
I like your
Am I
style.
right?
I like your style, kid. I like your style.
Now, did you go under the car? Now, when you were leaving, did you honk your horns as you were leaving Lincoln Financial Field last night?
No, I was not one of those scafozos.
Exactly.
I'm not one of those guys.
You know when I honk my horn, Tony?
When
someone won't freaking move in front of me. That's when
you
I
mean
honk.
when the light just turns green,
Exactly.
1 millisecond?
Speaking of an
It
outrage,
just
it's overhyped
fucking
in New York.
sucks.
Yes,
it
it does.
fucking
That is the New York
sucks to be
Post,
out here
especially on
with
the
this
George
out of
Washington.
control shit.
Oh, hang on. What's his name?
Trevor.
No, not Trevor. That was Larry.
Oh, Larry.
Larry O'Brien. Larry.
Speaking
Not
of
Larry
things that
O'Brien.
are
He's the former NBA commissioner. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Trevor.
Not Dave O'Brien.
No.
But speaking of things that
Not
are
Pat
overhyped
O'Brien.
in New York, we have some great O'Brien knowledge right now.
Not
Yes.
Bill O'Brien.
Things that are overhyped. The tolls for the bridges, for the George Washington Bridge, is $15, which I just had to pay today, which is an absolute outrage.
Oh, it's
I
a
know
joke.
JT
It's a joke.
This is an
The
outrage.
Brick always rants about it, and I will always rant about it.
I think what they do on the bridge tolls now going into and out of New York, it's only one way. It's on the way in, right? Not on the way out. They get you going
Way in,
into
yeah.
New York. In New Jersey, they get you getting out of New Jersey. In New York,
Yeah.
they get you coming in. And what they do is they try to keep the bridge tolls in New York and the tunnels to the price of one well drink inside any New York bar. So right now, a bad well drink in New York bars is $15, Luigi, and that's how they determine the tolls. Did you know that?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, of course I'm kidding. Come on, man. You serious, Clark?
But backlog is usually like $20, maybe occasionally. It depends where you go. Maybe in the meatpacking industry. So other than that, it was a good game last night, especially the second half. I had good seats. Shout out to all the common people that came up to the games because everyone else is scammed out for the weather. It was a fun atmosphere, especially the first half. Those boo birds were loud, and I'm proud. Speak to them because that was atrocious.
No, they had every single right to boo what they watched in the first half of that. In the first
Hey,
half
the
of that
Patriot
game.
fans were booing, and they got 50,000 Super Bowls.
Don't forget, this wasn't just boos from one half of football. This was boos from 2 previous football games, Tony, that were coming out. This was
this was pent-up frustration.
Pent-up frustration.
It's like going on Tinder and not being able to score in like 2 months. Remember, the Giants had not won a game since September. And they didn't win a game last night either.
No, but they've been playing tough.
No, they have. And that's what's good about football versus basketball. Again, I hate to use the analogy, but you're seeing teams that are bad in the NFL. I mean, even when they go out and go bowling the night before, they still find a way to win the next day.
Well, it's all rolling rock. That's why. They're rolling rock. That's all about.
Hey, Tony, did you see this breaking hockey news?
Yes, the entire National Hockey League, before the season is over, every coach in the NHL
is shifting.
Will be fired for reasons that no one understands, including the Dallas Stars, ladies and gentlemen.
What?
The Dallas Stars have fired their coach, Jim Montgomery, due to, quote, unprofessional conduct.
What the hell did he do?
Nobody knows. Unprofessional conduct. How many coaches is that? The Devils fired their coach because, hey, they sucked. Who else got fired?
Stars have fired their coach.
I just mentioned this coach. I just mentioned Jim Montgomery. There's got to be at least 4. There's got to be at least 4 coaches who have been let go already in the NHL.
Toronto fired their coach,
right?
Mike Babcock.
That's right, Mike Babcock. Yeah, he was a scumbag. It wasn't because he was unprofessional. He was just a douchebag. Even though the Flyer fans, when they made the change last year, who did they want?
Mike Babcock.
Mike Babcock.
He's the next Flyer.
That's the word. Babcock got fired. There's someone else. I can't think of his name. I know Mark Crawford may get fired.
Didn't Calgary fire? One of the Canadian teams fired their coach, too.
Yeah, Peters and Calgary got fired for the same reasons Doug McGregor says.
Okay. So it's, So there's been 4 how many hockey coaches? And this isn't because their teams stink. They're coming up with different reasons. Oh, due to unprofessional conduct.
What about due to the fact that you suck? How about that?
And this guy's only been there 2 years. Remember, he was the head coach at the University of Denver, so he was another college coach, like the Flyers' former coach, a hacksaw, makes jump from college, hotshot college coach to the NHL, and didn't survive. And now you got Jim Montgomery, who went from Denver, a hockey powerhouse in college, to the NHL 2 seasons, not even 2 seasons. He was in his second season, out of here.
Gig on.
And Don Cherry was fired, but he was saying stuff that people didn't agree with, and so they had to run him out. And he should have run him out years ago with his jackets and ties and stuff, man.
Yeah, I know. His outfit was the problem. That had nothing to do with what he said, even though what he said was questionable.
Speaking of the Dallas Stars, I found over the weekend.
Yes.
You saw him last week.
This was incredible. Tony literally comes in with several boxes of just nostalgia of Tony Bruno, right?
Not really of me. It's stuff that I had.
There's some stuff
in
there.
Boxes.
But it was a few magazines on that, but there were some personal items out there.
Ooh.
Yeah, personal items. I mean, but
What's in the box?
What was in the box was a bunch of histories. What was in the box? But Flyers memorabilia and all that stuff like that. But we were just talking about the Stars. And Tony, why don't you tell them what you found in that box?
I have it. It's collectible.
This is fantastic.
I got to go bring it down though.
Oh, you want me to know? Is it upstairs in the living room? If it is, I'll go grab it.
I don't remember where I put it.
Let me go check the living room.
It's a collector's item, and I may have to put this up for auction.
I think I know. I think I've seen it. I know exactly.
It's either in the office or it's upstairs in the office.
I've seen it. Give me a second.
I got to bring this down though because this is a classic, and I got it from one of the members of the organization of this hockey team that no longer exists, and they're stickers, and they're going to be awesome, man. Somebody's going to want these, and I'm going to bring them down.
Is it the Minnesota North Stars like throwback gear?
Yes, I have Minnesota North Stars stickers. You know one of those cellophane things that have the stickers on them of the franchises? Minnesota North Stars gear, man. That is great J.P. Parisi knowledge right there. The North Stars. And now, of course, they're the Wild. But the Stars moved to Dallas, of course, and became the Dallas Stars. But there'll always be the Minnesota North Stars to me, yo. I also found another thing I got behind me now on the set. Another collectible. I don't want to break this thing. It is a 1983 inaugural season USFL beer stein. It was limited to 1,983 tankards. It's called a tankard. I've got 1062, the 1983 United States Football League inaugural season teams. How many of them can you name, Trevor?
Philadelphia Stars.
Yeah.
New York. There's a New York team. I think it was the Guardians. New York, New Jersey Guardians.
No. That was the Donald Trump team with Herschel Walker and the boys. The New Jersey Generals. The Arizona Wranglers, your Birmingham Stallions,
Wrangler,
the Boston Breakers, the Chicago Blitz,
Breaker,
the Denver Gold, the LA Express with Steve Young. Remember that?
Yep.
Then you had the Michigan Panthers, the New Jersey Generals, the Oakland Invaders, Philadelphia Stars, Tampa Bay Bandits, and the Washington Federals.
Doug McGregor says, I got all of their mini helmets from the USFL.
From the US, I got a football signed by the Philadelphia Stars USFL championship team. You know who else was on that team? Vince Papale was on that team.
Good for
Vince
you.
Papale.
Jim Moore Sr., the head coach for that team.
Jim Moore was the head coach. You had Chuck Fusina was the quarterback.
Remember Chuck Fusey?
You had Bart Oates, the former Giants center, moved over from the NFL to the USFL. They had, who was the running back? It was a Washington Redskin running back on that team. There's some good players in the USFL, man.
Absolutely. A lot of Hall of Famers came from that. But why don't we show them?
Jim Kelly was on the team as well. I think he was on the Florida team or the LA, one of the teams.
And
right?
here it is right here. I'm putting it up to the camera. Can you see it now? You see it on camera, Luigi? Because I don't see the shots of the...
Yes, you can see it clear as day.
There they are, Minnesota North Stars, eh? And these were given to me by Jim Finks Jr. His dad, Jim Finks, was the general manager of the New Orleans Saints for many, many years.
Right, not Finks Hoagies down in the
No,
Northeast.
Jim Finks, great, great man. And then the son, Jim Finks Jr., and I worked together in Birmingham. Big hockey guy, and he sent me Minnesota North Stars. I got 3 little stickers and 1 big one. And there it is. It's a big goon on skates. It's a Minnesota North Star.
We got to get we got to get like a plastic wrap for it.
Yeah.
We got to encase that.
Exactly.
It's really cool.
In a frame, maybe too. Get in a nice picture frame. Those are like dopest. I love old like NHL like gear, like the old logo, especially the North Star. The Quebec Nordiques is my other favorite one.
The California Golden Seals.
Burton Gus says Federals had the best cheerleaders. Sat right in front of them at the vet and saw 0 plays.
Beautiful, man. By the way, Kelvin Bryant was the was a running back on that team.
That's great knowledge.
Good
Not
team right there.
Bryant.
Not Gilles Malash.
Not Luke Bryant.
No.
Not Martavius Bryant, who could use a job right now.
He could use a job right now. Again, all these guys that I don't understand why they're staying put and not bringing in every single capable body right now for a workout. Everyone. You know who I would call, Tony? And I said this, a guy who just retired earlier in the year.
Who?
Rashard Matthews.
Yeah, they got to bring everybody in.
I would have called Rashard Matthews. He's basically Devontae Parker. I would have called Rashard Matthews and said, look, man, what do you think about coming out of retirement? I know it wasn't working out there in Tennessee with Mariota, and now he's pissed because Tannehill was out there tearing it up.
Yep.
But why don't you come down here and hang out with us for the rest of the season and see what happens? Maybe we can reignite your want and your will to play some football. He's a young guy. He's 26 years old, Tony.
No, I agree. There's guys out there, and they got to bring them in. And if they don't bring guys in today, which is the day that you bring guys in because the team's off, and then tomorrow they get back to work because they got the Redskins on Sunday in Washington, where we'll be going on the bus trip.
Oh, no, now I'm hearing now that Des Bryant over here, our Fitz-G over here with Des Bryant.
Get out! Get out!
Des Bryant's more shot than I am.
Des Bryant, I don't know if I think there's rumor has it. I think I heard on Cilio's show that he may get a workout or someone with the Patriots possibly, but yeah, I don't know what he has left in the tank after that Achilles injury and they're able to sign with the Saints.
I actually feel bad for Des what happened that year. He goes, remember that, Tony? He gets signed by the Saints. It comes in first day of practice, and he tears his Achilles. Yep. And he tears his Achilles, and he's gone. And then they bring in Brandon Marshall after that for like a week, and then they cut him.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd feel bad for a Cowboy player in my entire life, but it really that kind of sucked. You know, he goes out there after all that time, gets a tryout, makes the team, and literally the first play of practice, poof, gone, non-contact, Achilles, done.
This is good.
Who do you see? Who's your top 5, like top 6 for the NFC? Who do you like? How do you see his seeding right now? Niners 1.
It's already predetermined. We already know that, man. It's you just.
Well, no, a few things could shuffle around.
Yeah, but I'm saying right now the Niners are the number 1 seed. The Green Bay Packers are the number 2 seed, and New Orleans is down to 3. I have it right here.
Don't sleep on the Vikings, man. Don't sleep on the. Don't sleep on the.
Here it is,
Vikings
right
gonna
here.
be a
I got
tough
all
out,
this stuff
brother.
prepared, but I don't want to bore people with surveys and top 10 lists and Mount Rushmores.
Tony,
and,
we're doing a sports radio show. You know that's what it's all about, right?
No, it's not. It's about
know.
the breaking
I'm
news
kidding.
that I
I'm
have.
kidding. I was joking.
Leave enough stuff to the Upper Bowl podcast. We made
That's
some
right.
Great.
Exactly.
All right, get
I
it.
have breaking news, though. I have a story that will affect more people than any of this crap we're talking
You
about.
got breaking news?
I have breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. You know, it's tough out there for single men and single women, as
easy.
many of you know.
It ain't easy.
Yeah.
But, ladies and gentlemen, all right, take it easy out there, Trevor. Be careful, man.
I just got back to Connecticut, anyways.
All right, see you, Trevor.
I feel sorry for you, man.
For the entertainment.
Could be worse. You could be going back to New Jersey.
Let's give him a roaring round of applause.
Let's give him one. All right, enough of that. Ladies and gentlemen, from the high-speed dating wire, I have breaking news.
Two chicks at the same
No,
time.
none of that.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's just. We have a man who finally has realized the key to getting happy. We have a proposal, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
A bodybuilder dude from Kazakhstan.
A bruh. Okay.
After 8 months of dating, Kazakhstan-based actor and bodybuilder Yuri Tolachko is telling the world that he has proposed
Who the fuck is that guy?
to his girlfriend, Margot.
Okay.
Margot is a silicone sex doll. I'm not making this up. His plastic bride-to-be, he treated her like a living lady, maintaining an Instagram account for her, where he documents their escapades and evenings out. He even claims to have found Margot a waitressing position at a local bar. Quite the feat considering her physical limitations. She can walk by herself. She can't walk by herself. She needs help.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Tolachko tells the Central European News Agency with a straight face.
How can you say any of that with a straight face?
Nor is she very helpful in the kitchen. So she's like most chicks, basically, right?
Or Fitz G, you don't got to worry about talking back to you.
Exactly.
That's one good thing.
Margot doesn't know how to cook, but she does know how to eat.
What?
She loves Georgian cuisine. I don't mean from Atlanta, Georgia. I mean
Right.
from over there in
The country, Georgia.
Formerly Russia, formerly the Soviet Union, formerly whatever.
Oh, that's a great drive. Scrapple Joe goes Christmas vacation and goes, "Why is the carpet wet, Todd?" "I don't know, Margot." That's one of my favorite lines in the movie. "I don't know, Margot."
Margot apparently also has an alleged sassy streak. You got to see the pictures of this chick. I mean, she's smoking.
Tony, if she's smoking, that means she's literally on fire.
Have you seen the pictures of
No,
this chick?
I have not.
She swears, but there's a tender soul inside, he says, admitting that the two quarrel. Despite their fights, Tolachko says they've been inseparable since their first meeting at a bar where he claims to have rescued Margot from a young man with questionable intentions. This is more interesting than the impeachment inquiry to me. There are actual pictures of this dude sitting in a restaurant with champagne in the big, in the ice bucket.
Sorry.
And then there's a guy playing a saxophone while he sits there with this sex doll in a restaurant.
Tony, I can go to the tape. I have video.
Do we have tape? Let's go to the tape.
I have video.
If you're watching on twitch.tv, Tony Bruno Show, you've got to see this to believe it.
All right.
Or not.
Hang on 1 second, Tony. Getting there right.
Kazakhstan.
That's where all
the action is, Bo.
The ballers play. This is right off of the clipping. So here we go.
Let's go to the tape.
You can see her. Yeah, she's not bad looking, Tony.
She's hot, man. I'd bang it.
Look, he's got her on an airplane all dressed up.
Oh yeah, man. That's love at first sight, man.
This is. I ain't gonna lie.
I don't know how they argue though. If she starts arguing with me, I throw her right out of the plane.
I hear you, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. It's fucking weird. it's weird, man.
He actually took her to a clinic to get plastic surgery to make her even prettier now.
Oh, because she wasn't that pretty looking before?
Surgery was extensive, he claims.
Play action real. She's low maintenance. I love it.
There was a Starz documentary on this, which I missed, called Silicone Soul. It premiered in October, and it took a close look at the lives of the guys who date women or date dolls.
Okay.
Doll Partners. Italy's first sex doll brothel opened last year, and it was immediately booked for weeks.
Burton Gus, she's got more personality than Pelosi does.
Man. Plus, her teeth stay in, I think, or you can take them out.
How dare you?
Except they keep falling out on poor Nancy, but that's what happens when you're old and you got dentures.
Oh, man.
But anyway, there's your sex doll update, ladies and gentlemen.
I could have lived without that one, Tone.
Listen, I don't make this stuff up. This is documented news here. This is not fake news. We're not CNN here. This is real important crap. You know what I'm saying?
Sex dolls have rights, too.
Yes, they do. She's not good around the kitchen.
She's not good around the kitchen.
She's not good around the kitchen.
She can't fold laundry for shit, but we love her. You know what I mean?
Oh, man. How the hell is she a bartender?
I don't know. She tends bar. She's not a
Well,
bartender.
AOC was a bartender. I mean, so, how
that's true.
how smart do you have to be to do that?
Unbelievable.
Maybe she's a bar back.
What was that guy's last name? I couldn't spell that if you gave me 25 tries, Tony.
Who, the guy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just got rid of the story.
Okay, because I was trying to lead into your spelling bee update.
Tolachko. We'll have a spelling bee update, too, before we get out of here today.
Jesus.
So right now, in the if you want the divisional round playoff action.
Yeah, please, give that
in
to
the
me.
AFC, obviously the Ravens right now are the projected 1 seed.
Correct.
Patriots are the 2nd seed. And, of course, the lowest winning seed from the NFC wildcard round. This is the setup for the playoffs. So in the AFC right now, you have projected matchups in the first round. In the AFC, the Ravens, of course, would play the lowest winning seed from the AFC wildcard round. And the wildcard round right now, you got the Steelers in there as a 6th seed. The Chiefs are the 3 seed. So it'd be Chiefs the 3 seed, Steelers the 6 seed if the season were to end today, which it doesn't. Then they got the Bills and Texans. Bills, meanwhile, leaking. They're the 4 seed right now. The Bills are the 5th seed. And aren't they playing? No, there's a big game this weekend. And I got to look at the schedule as we start already looking ahead to Week 15. Vikings and Saints would be the projected 6 seed, 3 seed game. Saints are the 3 seed. Vikings are the 6 seed right now. And the Seahawks and Cowboys, if the Cowboys go on to win the NFC East, they would still be the lowest. They would be the 4th seed. And the Seahawks would be the 5th seed, believe it or not, because the Seahawks wouldn't be the division winners. So the Cowboys would actually get a home game, and so would the Eagles, for winning the NFC East. Do you realize that, Luigi?
That's incredible.
They could be 9-7 and host a playoff game in the first round of the NFC. And, of course, in the hunt, you still have the Titans, who are playing great right now, Tennessee. You got the Browns, who are still mathematically alive at 6-7. The Raiders are 6-7. The Colts are 6-7. Even the Broncos at 5-8 are alive.
The Ravens have the Jets, Tony. The Ravens have the Jets. They're home. That's a win for them. Packers are the huge one with the Bears.
But I'm talking about the projected divisional and wild card playoff rounds. I think that's what Trevor was asking about coming up.
Well,
if
Steelers
the
are playing
Buffalo.
Start today. The Steelers are playing Buffalo.
I know. This is a big. I mean, every game now, we're in week 15, all these games are huge.
Well, a huge one. Here's another big. Again, the Rams-Cowboys game. We got that one circled. That one's massive. But if you want to take a look at the shit bowl, you got Jaguars at the Raiders. And
yeah, I mean,
Browns,
they're both still,
Cardinals.
the Raiders are still mathematically alive, but for all intents and purposes, the 3-game losing streak, they're shot.
Broncos at Chiefs.
Now we got the Thursday night game. Mr. Thursday Night will be out there at Screwballs in King of Prussia.
That's that Jets-Ravens.
Jets
game,
at Ravens. Mm-hmm. I wonder if Le'Veon Bell will be done bowling by then.
Well, they're probably in the 7th frame. Who knows? If
you got Seahawks and Panthers. Carolina's pretty much shot. You got the Eagles and Redskins, Texans and Titans. That's one of the big games of the week. Huge game. Bills-Steelers is a big game now. That's the game that was flexed from a 1 o'clock game to the Sunday night game. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Dolphins-Giants, yeah. Broncos-Chiefs. Broncos could give the Chiefs some trouble here if they play well, but it's in Kansas City.
Yes, they could.
So the Broncos, don't sleep on them.
Don't sleep on
the Patriots are at the Bengals, and the story about the Bengals being videotaped at the Browns-Bengals game this week may be the biggest joke in sports. You saw the big story yesterday, right? Where Bill Belichick had to come out and say there were camera crews inside the press box at the Browns-Bengals game. And the New England Patriots have this, it's part of their organization, but it's not part of their team. They do a reality show or something up there in New England, and they follow around coaches and stuff in press boxes and it's called Do Your Job.
Okay.
So it's a separate show that's produced by the New England Patriots organization. And so when a camera crew was in the press box filming Cincinnati Bengal coaches and then shooting some sideline shots, people were calling this Spygate 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Nice.
And so the biggest joke about this, I know the New England Patriots are struggling. They got to play the Bengals this weekend, right? In Cincinnati, the Patriots, their final away game.
A 10-point spread right there.
Do you think that the New England Patriots would need to film the Cincinnati Bengals coaching staff?
No.
Or what they're doing on the field or in warm-ups to get ready to play the only one-win team in the NFL?
That is literally a game where you can roll the ball on the field and the Patriots will win the game. By the way, speaking of an updated line, Tony, that line for that Eagles-Washington Redskins game has just came out.
What is it now? 4! Eagles are 4-point favorites?
4-point road favorites, Tony.
What was it before? Did it go
4.5,
up?
it went down.
Oh, it went down?
It went down.
Did they not watch the second half of the game?
Yeah, exactly. You kidding me? There's no line yet for that Kansas City-Denver game. Baltimore's opening up at 15.
Are you looking at Vegas Insider?
Yeah.
And there's no lines on some of these games?
Yeah, there's no line for Denver, Kansas City yet.
Are these fresh right out the kitchen?
Now, they got Kansas City at, one place, Stations Casino has them at minus 10.5.
I don't know Stations Casino.
Nothing,
What's the
nothing
matter?
from the win, nothing from anything like that.
What's the Vegas consensus? That's what I want to know. That's what I look at. I look at the compilation consensus of all the different houses in Las Vegas. I don't look at offshore. I don't look at any of that crap. Just give me the Vegas consensus number. That's the one I usually go with every week. You know what I'm saying?
How about we go to the call-in number and see who's on the phone?
Let's go to the phones. Let's go to the phones right now. 215-462-TONY. 215-462-8669. Hello.
Hello, Tony?
Oh, there he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Tim from Cheltenham!
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been like a month.
Yes! Oh, man.
I know it's been 6 weeks, so I'm back.
Well, yeah.
I haven't heard from him forever,
now,
man.
Now, where were you last night when Zach
I
Ertz
was
caught
in
that ball in the end zone, sending the city and the entire NFL into a fit of euphoria and ecstasy?
I was in my TV room with my 60-inch Samsung.
Beautiful, man. Yeah.
It basically saved their season.
It did.
Probably the best
it literally
game
did.
The best game he's played, let's say, late third period, fourth quarter, since he got hurt.
Carson Wentz signature. It's amazing we're calling a win over a 2-9 team a signature.
But the way he did it, with not much receivers,
No, it was a miracle. It was the Christmas miracle.
It was.
Clark.
It came early. Christmas came early,
It
Tony.
was a Christmas gift that keeps on giving, Clark.
And now he has to do it next week in Washington.
And we'll be on the bus
Probably
trip.
be more Eagle fans there than Redskins
Oh, absolutely
fans.
there will be. I think even Congress is leaving town because they don't want to be around, but there'll be some people left in D.C. heading to that game.
Was it Landover, Maryland?
Down in Landover, FedEx Field, baby. Absolutely, positively must win this one. This is an absolutely, positively must
and the
win.
Redskins are playing pretty not great, but decent football.
No, and you know what? As bad as Washington has been, they always give the Eagles tough games. That first game of the year was a tough game. It shouldn't have been. And then they made changes and the coaching staff and people were ripping this Dwayne Haskins kid, and they're giving him reps. So he's getting better each week. This guy was a high draft pick. He played at a big-time college program. Is he a Hall of Famer? I don't know, but you play him. Why are you going to keep running out Case Keenum? You want to see what this kid has. And so I think the Eagles, once again, will have a tough game on the road in Washington. And you watch, they'll blow them out this week.
I just worry about their defense.
Yeah, I'm worried about no receivers.
That was a disgrace. That was the first.
Oh, yeah, that was an embarrassment. That was an embarrassment to professional football. That was like watching a preseason game, the first half of that game.
Oh, yeah,
last
absolutely,
night.
Tony.
That touchdown at the end of the first half, that was...
Oh.
Well, literally,
I could cover it better than that.
with the players they had out there, it was literally watching a preseason game.
Yeah.
It looked like week 2.
Even the guys on the practice squad for the Eagles weren't getting this much play in the preseason.
Bert and Gus checking in, by the way. Tony, Lane Johnson's called week to week. Alshon Jeffrey more significant, but it's a week-to-week diagnosis for Lane Johnson because Coach Peterson was speaking while we were talking.
Yes,
so,
and Lane Johnson, that's a big loss.
It's a huge loss.
But
they
Alshon Jeffrey,
week,
I think.
But they need him against Dallas.
Yeah, I think Alshon Jeffrey, you can't play him this week. You got to have him for Dallas if you have anything left to play for.
No, you got to hold on.
Well, you will. I mean, if you beat Washington, then that game's technically for the division, and you got to beat Dallas here.
If somehow, some way, Well, Dallas, I mean, like I said, it's no cakewalk for Dallas. But.
No, Dallas has the Rams, and that's not going to be an easy. The way Dallas has been playing, and now that the Rams are playing better, that one looked like a couple of weeks ago. Looks like, we were talking about schedules and who had the harder schedule, and supposedly Dallas had a harder schedule technically. But right now, the way the Rams are playing, the Cowboys, this is no gimme. Let's look at the Cowboys. It's a pick 'em. It's a pick 'em now.
Game for the Rams. Rams have to win out to make the playoffs.
Dallas was -4 when this line opened. Yeah. It is now a pick 'em.
Yep.
The line has dropped 4 points because a lot of money going in on the Rams.
Because the Rams are hot.
The Rams are hot in Dallas, and Dallas, let's be honest, at home, the Eagles haven't been good at home. They just won over 4. Yeah, they're 4-3 with the win last night. The Eagles. So the Eagles were not exactly world beaters at home, and neither are the Cowboys. And the Cowboys play better at home than they do on the road, certainly. But the Rams now, that's a pick 'em game. And that takes a lot of money to be plunked down to move a game line from -4 to pick 'em. Straight up.
It takes either a lot of money or just one really big, smart bet.
I think it was Jerry Jones betting against his coach, Jason Garrett.
Hey, Jason, you just keep doing you. you just keep doing you, and I'm going to keep taking his oil money to the bank, all right?
The Saints are big favorites over the Colts. That's the Monday night game.
That Denver-Kansas City line is 10.5, Tony. Dean in Tampa texted me, and it is confirmed 10.5. If anybody knows it, he knows it. Trust me.
I know it, too. What does he have, a hotline?
No, all I'm saying, I'm looking on Vegas Insider, just like you look.
The Ravens are 14.5-point favorites over the Jets Thursday night. And their quarterback's not even healthy.
They're going to poleaxe the New York Jets, Tony.
That's the worst Thursday night game of the year.
I don't know. Everybody wants to see Baltimore. Now, Lamar Jackson's not 100%.
You think the Ravens mail this one in?
This could be one of those trap games.
Not lose it, but just end up playing, get out of there.
Right now, Mr. Thursday Night has not released an official pick. But if I were to I had to make a pick right now, I'd take the Jets with the 14.5.
I can see this being an ugly 20-10, just kind of mail it in kind of a game. Mark Ingram running the ball a lot, no Le'Veon
Remember, they
Bell.
just went through their stretch of tough games, Baltimore, and they're showing the world that they can beat good teams. Now they got a shit Jets team going in there.
This is a good a nice little rest game for the Baltimore Ravens.
Who's the backup quarterback?
Robert Griffin III.
Oh, that's right, RG3, baby.
This could be the RG3 show in the second half, Tony.
Yes.
You know what? I'll make the pick right now. I'm taking the Jets. Give me the Jets. 15.5. Not because RG3 can't get it done, just because I think the Ravens are going to be resting in the second half.
That's Tony, we have a special clip today.
Yes.
Oh, we have a clip?
Yes.
This is a Christmas clip. Classic Christmas clip.
Oh, I love class. We haven't really started our Christmas celebrations
here.
This
is 2013 was you, Harry Mays, the Eagles pep band, and Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Oh, man. I'm going to get teary-eyed. I better get a box of tissues close by. I had him near the bed last night because Robin's not in town, but I had to bring him back down here.
A little Jergens, huh?
I left that upstairs. Let's go to Jim from Cheltenham, the official archivist of the Tony Bruno career, and do a little Christmas caroling today. Where is Carol?
Going through that damn song. Christmas time is near. Time for toys and time for cheer. Take it again. We've been good, but we can laugh. Hurry Christmas, hurry fast. I want a plane that loops the loop. Me, I want a hula hoop. We can hardly stand the wait. Please, Christmas, don't be late. Nice work there, Chris. Thank you, baby Jesus. And thank you, Tony Romo. Wow.
Hey, shut the fuck up and go outside, all right?
The 11 o'clock hour brought to you by Harris, Philadelphia. Yes, indeed. You can get the best Compton Philly period. Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory.
The bird! They got to the bowl, baby! They got to the bowl!
Oh, man.
And watch our Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
And I am more grateful now and thankful that the Eagles pep band will still have work for the rest of the holiday season.
Carson Wentz helping put money in everyone's pocket.
Tomorrow we're doing in heaven, there is no beer. That's why we're drinking here.
Oh, not
The Eagles Pep Band, they're everywhere.
Yeah. You were getting ready to go into your little falsetto right there, Tom. Thank you, Jim.
Nothing better than performing with a live band. It just brings the greatness out of me.
Yeah, it does.
When I'm with a symphony orchestra, whether I just have the Eagles Pep Band.
Symphony orchestra?
What
the hell are you near a symphony orchestra?
Whether I'm with Riccardo Muti and the Philadelphia Orchestra from a few years ago, whether I'm playing with just a guy who's panhandling on Broad in front of the Reading Terminal Market.
Whether you're striking it up with Leonard Bernstein.
Exactly
One of
right.
those kind of things.
When they call me up to the stage at the Pennsylvania Ballet's rendition of George Balanchine's The Nutcracker, and ask me to be the nasty bastard guy.
The Mouse King, the Rat
King?
King?
Drosselmeyer.
Drosselmeyer, yeah, Drosselmeyer.
Drosselmeyer. I think the Eagles are bringing him in for a tryout today.
I was gonna say. He's scheduled for a workout at 3 p.m.
Guy's quick on his feet, man. That guy can spin around. He can catch balls thrown behind him. Or outside, he can dive for him. He's only like 6 feet, but I mean, when he gets up on his toes and when he goes into a full on point, he can get up there and get some vertical to like 6'3".
I just got confirmation that John Clark's out there at the airport waiting for the Sugar Plum Ferry to arrive. Jesus, Drosselmeyer.
No, Drosselmeyer. Not Drosselmeyer.
Tony, I haven't been on for a while. What do you think of all the moves the Phillies have made so far?
Now they're apparently, I don't know if they're in the Rendon sweepstakes. He's obviously gone from Washington as late as I'm hearing. They obviously gave Strasburg an unbelievable contract, and now people are saying that they don't have a lot of money left. Yeah, Zach Wheeler is a good signing because he was that $100 million crew. They got the other guys who want $250 to $300. I don't know whether the Eagles are going to go after Baumgartner. I don't know whether the Phillies, what they're going to do.
The Phillies do need a left-hand starting pitching because they have all right-handers in their line and their.
They need more pitching, but they need an infield bat. There's no doubt about it. I know D.D. Gregorius. We know the manager loves him from New York. He's got good bat, good field guy, good player, and so the Phillies have gotten rid of half of their infield.
Hey, Baumgartner makes a lot of sense. Just like Jim said, because you do need a left-hander in there.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
This is the year Baumgartner makes a lot of sense to bring him in there, and they do need that infield help. If they were to go out there and sign, if they were to acquire Baumgartner and also get a Rendon or Didi Gregorius, I think it's a huge offseason. I can see the Phillies very much contending for that first place.
Well, Rendon is pissed off at the Nationals, just like
after they won a World Series, he's pissed off already.
Well, he's pissed off because he wants to get paid because he was one of the. Without Rendon, they don't win that. Forget about everybody else.
Rendon. The Cubs right now, Bryant wants out of Chicago.
Yeah, Chris Bryant, third baseman for the Cubs.
I don't want.
You don't like Chris Bryant?
He's got a lot of acne.
It's all right. It happens. Carson Wentz has back acne. It happens to all those guys in that age group.
I think it was remember that account I had Chris Bryant's forehead acne?
It's horrible.
It was horrible. It was horrible. I'll tell you what, you talk about Rendon being a big part of that Nationals win. How about that Howie Kendrick? Without Howie Kendrick, they don't win that World Series.
Yeah, no, he was a great bat. He was a great bench bat. No doubt about it. The Nationals did a great job.
Yeah, but they need a third baseman, a first baseman, and a second baseman.
Yeah, no doubt, and that's what happens when you win. Guys want to get paid.
Can't buy them all.
No, they're not. Rendon's gone, and the question is, where does he go? Now, the Phillies are looking at other options, too, because Rendon may be too rich for their blood. It's funny how fans who care about salaries, also don't seem to care about the salary, the cap.
Money.
Who cares about how many? They're $19 million under the cap.
It's not your money.
You think they're worried about paying the? If you're worried about paying the tax, then you don't really want to win.
Rendon's only 29 too.
I know he is. No, he's got a bunch of good years. He's got.
Well, the Dodgers shouldn't worry about tax when they don't know all the money they bring in.
Exactly. No, the Phillies are a big market. The Phillies
they
have a major TV.
The Phillies have the sixth best television package in MLB.
Exactly. So that's why they're players. They're players because they have television revenue, just like the Dodgers do. Teams like Pittsburgh and St. Louis probably because of their background. But you look around baseball, there's a lot of teams like Tampa. Tampa's getting like bail bonds places to be their sponsors down there.
Right.
Because the Rays, as good as they are and as good as they've been without a lot of big payroll people, they always get young players and they produce. the Tampa Bay Rays and the Oakland A's are two teams that can just throw out young guys out there and be competitive every single year. But they can't when they don't have enough to win. That's the problem. I mean, Tampa's been close, but they just don't have. And then they have to trade away guys because they can't afford to keep them.
Because they get to be too good.
And because they're too rich for their blood and they don't have the revenue streams to pay these guys. You know what I'm saying, Jim?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. The Tampa Bay, how long they're going to stay in Tampa Bay now? That's the question.
Can't believe we're
So you feeling better now, Jim?
What'd you say?
You feeling better now?
Yes. I feel all right.
How many injections did you have to get in the back there?
In the back?
Yeah, you said you had back problems, right?
No, I don't have back problems. The only problem I have is my eye problem. That's the.
And everything's okay now? We want to make sure you're right.
They check my eye.
You follow me, camera guy?
This eye institute, more eye institute, and clears everything up. It's amazing the technology today. If it would happen 20 years ago, I'd probably be legally blind in my right eye.
So they don't inject your eyeball, do they?
Oh yes.
Fuck that!
No. Listen, I've had it.
Right.
I had my.
It saves so many. This new treatment saves so many people's eyesight.
No, you're absolutely right. I never liked anything near my eyes, but last year when
my father had the same thing, but they could do nothing for me.
Yeah, exactly. To me, listen. If it's about seeing or having an injection in your eye, I had my eyelid cut open last year. My eyeball had to be protected, and they stuck stuff in my eye and then put a gigantic solid piece of glass in there to protect my eyeball from surgery.
And I could drive at night, and I could drive and everything.
That's all right. Luigi can't drive at night, and he doesn't need anything.
Just like Dean said, because he laughed at me. I was like, "Fuck that! You ain't putting no needle in my eye."
Yes, you are. Look, trust me. When you want to be healthy,
your eyesight, you do anything.
But how do you? Oh God! I mean,
but you don't feel anything. You don't feel anything.
But you see the needle going into.
No, you don't see it.
You don't see it, and you don't feel anything.
If you don't see it, well, that's what she said. But if you don't see it or you don't feel it, I could probably get down.
Just do it.
Just do it. But I mean, if I gotta literally see that needle coming into my,
I had people sticking stuff in my eye last year. You got to do it.
You got to do it.
Yes, you don't feel it because they put numbing stuff in your eye.
I know. I mean, is your eye closed when they do it?
No, it's open.
I can't be closed.
I hate to do it to Luigi. I got to give him one of these.
If your eye is open, how?
You're 35, 36 years old.
I'm 38. Damn it, I'm a man.
You're a kid yet. I mean,
hold on a second.
Wait, you get in your 50s and 60s.
I probably won't see 50 or 60, Jim. Hang on a second. Here's the thing:
in the course of one calendar year, I had my eye cut open and injected, and I had a tumor taken out, a tumor from my eyelid. I had to do that. And then a year later, I had stuff being stuck in my ass for 6 weeks.
My question is,
so to speak.
My question is that if your eye's not
Wait a minute,
closed,
that doesn't sound right.
It doesn't sound right at all. But if my question is that if your eye is open, then you have to be able to see them pushing the needle into your eye.
You don't feel it, though.
How can you see it pushing in your eye? You're looking straight up. There's no way you can see.
Exactly.
I never see the...
Trust me, I was one of I never wore contact lenses. I'm afraid of even having like an eye exam when they do that little poof of
that stuff.
The air. You know when they blow the air in your eye when they're doing an up close thing and you don't expect it.
Tony.
I have sensitive eyes too. When you're healthy, when you need something so that you can see or hear or go to the bathroom or sit comfortably, you do whatever is necessary.
Speaking of sitting comfortably, my dog is upstairs just chilling on your couch, bro. I mean, she is just lounged out.
What a lucky bitch.
I'm very lucky. I have everything else. My heart, kidney, all that stuff is
Oh, good, man.
It's
good.
excellent shape, except for the one thing, the eye. Except for that, I'm perfect health.
So, Jim, when are you going to get out of the house and actually get down here and come hang out?
I'll try to get down there someday.
It's the holiday season, buddy.
Because I don't know what you could change your times, like 2 hours a day, or I don't know what.
Well, no. Robin's away right now, so I'm just I'm filling in and kind of.
But Tony said last week he may change to 2 hours.
Well, it depends. Normally we'll do 1 to 3 on Mondays and Thursdays, obviously, because of the 2 shows. In fact, the last Thursday night game is this one on the schedule, so this will be our last Thursday night doubleheader. Now, we still have to do a couple more shows at Screwballs because we promised them 17 shows. So there's only 15 Thursday night games, and then the NFL goes to the Saturday format starting next week. So there won't be a Thursday night game, but there'll be 3 Saturday games next week in the NFL, and so we'll have to figure out that. But as far as doing the doubleheaders, Mondays will continue for a couple more weeks, and then Thursdays, tomorrow night, this Thursday night, it's the last one on Thursdays, and so we'll make adjustments. So when we don't have to do doubleheader shows, we'll do 3 hours. as we normally do, 1 to 4. And then Luigi's doing 12 to 2 because Robin's in Arizona visiting her dad. And so Luigi's coming in here before he goes to work and helping me out do a couple of shows because, believe it or not, I can't do this by myself because I don't have all the technical expertise.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, and it takes 2 people to do this. And Luigi's doing a great job because, luckily, he's learned how to do it on his own show with Funk and Fantasy. So now he has the wherewithal to know how to turn everything on and fire it up and get the cameras on and get the Twitch stream going.
Yeah, it may look easy,
but it's hard.
It is hard. I can see. I can see it's hard because a lot of people email. He says they really enjoy you on 6 to 8 at night.
Yeah, we're gonna bring the Friday night show.
A lot more people are having the smart TVs and they eat their dinner and watch it between 6 and 8 p.m. at night. People are enjoying that show.
No, and we're gonna bring back the Friday night shows. Obviously now we're close to the holidays.
Done one since October.
Yeah, last time we done it, I think, was Marquise Johns was here from the fights in Philly at Temple.
Yeah, I was on that night. Yeah,
remember that?
A lot happened since then. You had a couple surgeries.
Yeah, I've had a couple surgeries, and then Robin's had issues going on, and so we've had to do stuff that we didn't want to do, the hospital stuff, because I got surgery on Thursdays, and then we couldn't do a Friday show. So it's just been a crazy couple of months around here. But I'm just happy when we get to do shows. Whether we do 2 hours.
We're going to the Super Bowl, right?
We are going to Miami.
Oh, you are?
I believe so.
I don't think I'm going to be there.
Why not?
I don't know. Did I get an invite?
I'll let you know when I find out.
Appreciate
But
that.
it looks like it's getting closer to happen. We put in for the credentials. You have to do that every year. We always get credentialed. And so now my sources deep within inside the NFL and the NFL community are saying that it looks like it might be, it could be, the 31st Super Bowl appearance. And I believe that's a record.
That is a record, Tony. That's a record that'll
Mr.
stand.
Monday Night. Do I give myself a roaring round of applause for that?
That sounds great.
So I got to put in for that time off. That's why. I'm already starting my new job. I'm already taking 27 days off.
It's a good job out of you, man.
Got to do it, man.
You working for the government now?
Yeah, I am, actually.
That's why everybody wants to work for the government. They can't fire you. You get benefits, and you save off on Ghoul whenever you want. You don't have to show up for work.
You got to let me loose.
It's an outrage.
You got to let me loose in Miami, man.
Oh, man.
You got to let me loose in Miami.
Okay, Tony, it's great talking to you
Great.
again.
I'm glad to hear everything's doing better,
But
Jim.
Jim, what am I, Mirage? Good to hear from you.
You disrespecting his eye shots.
I wasn't. I was just saying it's difficult.
You're taking a lot of headshots. You can't take an eye shot every once in a while?
That's what I told her. All right, get
okay, guys, have a great day.
See you, Jim.
Where the white women at?
They're out there. Don't worry about it.
There's plenty of them. That was dynamite.
Oh,
I
man.
love hearing from Jim. I've been wondering, because again, I listen all the time. Jesus Christ, this phone is going crazy.
We love all of our listeners, especially the long timers, not the first time long times, the long times long first times, first time the long time listeners and long time callers,
and love you long timers too.
Oh, we love you long time.
And for some reason or not, the callers. The callers can't hear me. I can't hear them when I'm picking up the phone. But
you
the
really
phone,
can't?
I really can't. But whoever just called, you're live.
Let's go to the phones. Hello.
Hello, am I on the air?
You are on the air.
Thanks for taking my call. This is Terry out in Idaho, well known across the internet, to be honest.
Terry in Idaho. Are you where in Idaho?
I mean, I'm in Genesee, Idaho. It's like Tennessee, but with a G instead of a T.
I didn't know there was a Genesee, Idaho. Now, of course, that's where the big potato. Now we got a potato shortage.
Is that where the Genesee cream ale came from?
No, that's from Genesee, New York.
Okay,
that's good Genesee cream ale knowledge
Thank
right
you,
there. But so Idaho, what's going on? You getting snow out there? What's the weather in Idaho? I love to talk about the, we call flyover country, the fruited plain out there.
I haven't left my house in about 2 or 3 weeks. I'm a big tech guy. I'm just checking out the tech you got going on in there. I'm seeing all the cords. Holy Lord, you guys got a beautiful tech setup. Oh, baby, I like it.
Well, a lot of people will say, if you get like real anal audio technicians, they would say, this looks like the Christmas tree in Christmas Vacation.
Right.
Where they have all the plugs in and there's like one. But these all have a purpose, but it needs to be cleaned up.
Well, we had to untie a few things. Usually everything's spooled nice and tight.
Yeah, it's all nice and clean. But
I'll be honest with you. I don't like it when it's tight. I like it when it's loose and nasty. I like it when it's all over the place, frizzy, nasty.
Yeah,
baby.
absolutely.
My
my relationship to tech is probably different than yours or the regular sort of tech aficionado, whereas they would say, oh, tech is a big part of my life. I would say tech is my life, period.
Jeesh.
How are the potatoes out there right now, Terry? There's supposed to be a French fry. There's going to be a French fry shortage because Idaho had a lot of rain, and therefore there's a potato famine of 2019.
I don't care about potatoes. The only thing I care about is tech. Do you want to talk about your tech or not? This is now a tech show. It is no longer a sports show.
Let's go tech talk.
Let's go tech, whatever.
Hey, listen.
I took it over. It's my show now. I run the show.
Terry, it's your dime. It's your dime, man. Go for it. Go nuts.
What kind of headphones you working with?
Well, we got the various ones. I have Sony Digital, the dynamic stereo headphones.
I got a pair of Bose on.
Studio version. They're quality for digital now. These are digital
Let's
headsets.
uniform those, fellas. Let's uniform those. Let's run a professional operation. Uniform those headphones.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's personal preference. That's what it is. Robin likes the Bose, which I'm using right now. Tony's been using the Sonys for a long time.
Tech talk is big on the internet. This is probably the kind of conversation we need to have more of to get all the tech geeks out there to find this place.
Tony, I love you. I'll be honest with you. I call shows all the time trying to talk tech. Everyone shuts me right down and makes me feel so small. But you have made me feel a million feet tall today and made my voice feel heard. And a lot of people at the Not Even a Show are going to appreciate you, my friend, and they're going to love you.
Exactly right. And that's why, because I want to learn from everyone. I want to learn tech. I want to learn high tech, low tech, disco tech.
Can you say this? Can you say this? Terry loves tech.
Terry loves tech?
No, but sing it like Terry loves tech.
No, I can't do that yet, man. It's not the holiday season yet.
He said, all right, bye. See you,
out,
Terry.
Man. Get him out of here.
What the?
Get out!
Rack that guy. He could be the huge call of the day.
Rack that guy. I hope the FBI was listening. What the fuck was that? Jesus. What the hell was that?
What do you mean? The guy was talking serious tech.
No, man. He was talking. He took tech and he made it into like the the whole sexy.
Not TV Azteca, where at Miami.
Dean's over here saying, "Good call, screen, Luigi." I couldn't hear the guy. What do you want me to do? I had technical issues.
I like that guy. He could become a regular.
That was good.
Maybe instead of Taco Tuesday,
we'll do Tech Tuesday.
Tech Tuesday
with Terry.
We'll talk headphones. We'll talk Shure microphones versus Sennheisers. We'll talk podcast microphones, what you need to have your own super sensational podcast like this one on Twitch TV, Tony Bruno Show. You think anybody, any slapdick in the world could just go into their basement and do a podcast?
I can't stop laughing. What the fuck is tech?
The answer is yes. Any slapdick in America can go into their basement and do a podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I heard he's still running the last remaining Radio Shack in Idaho. And also he goes to the last remaining Blockbuster.
Why do I keep feeling he's got like age, sex, location tattooed on his forehead? That was great, though, man. Thanks for the call, Terry. That was fantastic.
That was fun.
That made my day. Tony and I are just looking at each other going, I'm not singing this damn song. Are you singing
this song? I told him. I mean, there's certain things I wouldn't do. Hey, even for money.
Listen, well, you got to have standards and morals, right, Tony? I mean, without that, we'd be animals.
Not here. Not in the digital world. We can do whatever the hell we want.
Bring him in the wine cellar. Are you crazy? We brought him down here. He probably busted a nut before he walked down the steps.
Now, where's the dog? We need a dog update.
She's upstairs.
Is she sleeping?
Should I tell her to come down?
Yeah, get her down here, man.
I'll get that bitch. Hang on.
I spent my weekend with my my goddaughter, my granddaughter, Lana Banana. Lana, the red lab. She's a Eurotrash red lab, though, not an American. They've got the fuller face. What a great dog. I love animals. Last night I'm alone watching the game. I'm laying on the couch on the new sectional, and Riddle, one of our 3 cats, gets up on my shoulder. So now you're laying on one side, so your shoulder is up, and then Riddle, the male cat, the daddy, the Mac daddy of the house, comes up and actually starts sleeping on my shoulder. That's the kind of love. I should be the next Dr. Doolittle. Forget all these other fake people. They don't know anything about animals. I may get into animal husbandry in my next life. I just love animals. Especially the 2-legged kind. You know what I'm saying? Except they're more difficult to deal with. She doesn't want to come down? The hell's the matter with that dog? Doesn't she know what's going? Doesn't she know who I am? Doesn't she know that her daddy Luigi is on the Tony Bruno show right now live?
That's why she doesn't want to come downstairs.
Is she like sleeping on the couch?
Yeah, she was sleeping on the couch. I gave her a treat.
Who's with her though?
The cats are just kind of all hanging.
See, they get along. Animals, dogs, and cats get along, and that's the way the world should be. That's why this show exists, to bring everybody together as one.
I think she heard Terry on the line. She was like, you know what? I don't want no parts of that.
Damn.
Didn't you have you told me you had a spelling bee update, man.
Yes, we do have.
I got to hear
this. Is breaking news now. This isn't some bullshit story.
Wow, did we just hit that at the same exact time?
Ladies and gentlemen, the spelling bee.
I know it.
Just like any other major event, when something goes wrong, they have to find a way to fix it, right? The NFL, pass interference calls, bad plays in playoff games and Super Bowls. What do? They go out and change the rules, replay this, and now this is not eligible. So every sports league has to fix something when something becomes a total shit show like this one, except we try to fix it every day. So the spelling bee, as you well remember, about 6 months ago, you know how it ended, right?
No.
An 8-way tie.
8-way tie?
Yes.
That's like my fantasy league.
Exactly. I prefer
chicks at the same time.
Exactly. So they had an 8-way tie because they ran out of words, not just words. They ran out of hard words.
Oh. Spell and.
Yeah. And so what happened was, it's an embarrassment. They had to split like $10 8 ways. It's like working on this show.
Exactly. Only problem is you get the lion's share, which sucks because me and Robin are fighting for 50 cents. It's bullshit.
So anyway, 6 months after the 8-way tie where they ran out of hard words, they have now changed the rules, ladies and gentlemen. Every sport does it. The NBA does it, the NHL, Major League Baseball. Remember, the whole baseball this time it counts thing happened after they had a tie in the baseball all-star game, remember?
Right. Which you can't.
Because they ran out of players.
Right. You can't.
They ran out of words at the spelling bee.
How the hell do you run? Just open up the dictionary, find another word. But it's got to be the hard words.
Yes, because when you get to that level, when you're in the championship round, it's like Final Jeopardy. They're not throwing out some easy-peasy question.
Spell biblical, or something like that.
So here's what happens. So now they have lowered the number of contestants.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good thing.
So there's a wild card round, and we love the wild card.
Divisional playoffs, that whole nine.
So previously, the wild card was only opened. Well, no, the wild card was open to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So kids as like 4-year-olds can get in there. And you know what it takes to get into the spelling bee?
What?
A check for $1,500, an entry fee.
What?
And you have to be able to pay for your travel, your lodging, and all your expenses. So they don't pay for any of these kids to show up. So the parents take them out of the basement where they've been homeschooled, and then they say, we're going to go to the spelling bee. Let's go. And they plunk down $1,500 so they can be a contestant. And so what they've done now is they've lowered the number of wild card entrants.
We have one of those parents right here.
We got a job to do, and we're going to do it.
Baby! So now, they're only, instead of having 300 wild card entrants.
300 wild card entrants?
They had 300 wild card entrants could be any age from like 9 years or younger were getting in. As long as they could pay.
That's a $45,000 cash grab. Holy shit.
So now the wild cards will be limited to 140 instead of 300, and they'll only be 7th and 8th graders. Because what's happened, a lot of kids, sharp kids that were 9, 7, 8 years old, their parents would say, yeah, my kid's going to go in there. He's going to win the whole thing, he or she. So now they had 17 wild cards last year who were 9 or younger that entered. You know how many of them made the final 50? 0.
No.
0. So the point is, you can bring all these young kids in, 9-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds.
They
got no shot.
They ain't ready for the big
And then
time.
so they're using more words to get through the whole tournament. And then when they get to the finals, you got 8 people who are all smart, and these kids are all smart. At least they read dictionaries every day.
So it's flawed.
So now the total number of participants, including the wild cards, is going to be 400 entries, down from 562.
Damn.
They had 562 kids paying $1,500. Do get the calculator up.
That's like $63,000, I think.
562 kids
right now, hang on.
paying $1,500 each.
562?
562 times $1,500. How much is that?
$843,000.
$843,000. And then they hire a couple of, like, nerds to sit down and read the numbers and then, can you put that in the form of a sentence, please?
Right.
You think those people make any money?
Can I have the origin of the word, please?
Exactly. So the kids go out there, and their parents are sitting there and rooting them on, hoping that they win whatever the
know it.
Exactly. So now even the stinking spelling bee has to change the rules. Because you can't have an 8-way tie.
What's the winner get?
Baseball had a tie, and they changed the whole sport.
What's the winner get? Like 10 G's?
I don't even know.
I got to look that up.
Jesus.
What's the winner of the spelling bee?
So these kids all pay $1,500 and then expenses, hotels, hookers, Indian food. All this shit's expensive.
Doesn't curry any favor over here in the States, you know what I mean? Oh, okay. Oh, each winner, 50,000, Tone.
Each kid got 50 grand?
50 G's. The winner gets 50 G's, man. Each kid
so they had to give out 50 G's?
Yeah. 50.
That's 40. That's 400 grand.
Yeah.
What's left over? I mean, they had,
$443,000
to spread among all the thugs who run this thing, and then they get paid by ABC to put it on TV and ESPN. They got a TV contract to
Play
spell
Action
me.
Reel says, I got Gupta Hanji winning it all. Winning it all.
It's like marathons. You always bet on a Kenyan to win a marathon.
Yep.
You always bet
on an Indian
or Pakistani, any Indian background kids.
Bet the Asian in the
they
math
own
contest.
it.
They
own the spelling
bee. That's
bee.
nothing racist about that.
No,
they just own it. They freaking own it.
Exactly. Just like Kenyans own marathons.
For the most part. For the most part, yeah, they do. Speaking of marathons.
They should bring these kids back when they grow up, all the winners, and see how well adjusted they are to the real world.
They're probably fried. They're probably, you know what
no,
they are?
These kids are smart. They're probably doctors and lawyers and Indian chiefs.
They're Idaho Terry. That's what they are. That's exactly what happened to them. That's what happens to these kids. They turn into tech guys who never leave the freaking house.
I think their gender reveals are probably really lit, so to speak, when they get married. If they do get married. I don't know if these kids grow up and get married.
I think their gender's revealed for them afterwards, Tony. Congratulations. We've been keeping you under wraps for a while. You can be whatever the hell you want to be, but just so in case you want to know, those are penis and a set of balls, all right?
Our buddy Joe Quills checks it. He says, first-round losers have the choice of working at Dunkin' or 7-Eleven. Now, you see, is that racist?
See, that's racist.
That's not racist. Is that racist?
A little bit. Even though I'll tell you what, though, when I go into a Dunkin' Donuts, when I see it's all run by Indian people in there, I'm getting the best service possible.
Absolutely,
they run it's the cleanest, most tidiest, most proficient shop you can possibly go into. I walk into a Dunkin' Donuts where there's nothing but a bunch of just I don't know, 17, 18-year-old white kids in there hanging out.
I don't walk right out of there.
I won't
go into any establishments where there's white people. I hate those sons of bitches.
I hate you. Joe Biden knows 7-Elevens. Jesus Christ, man.
And again, it's not racist.
No, it's not racist.
I'm
throwing love,
Facts
too.
are not racist.
Is it racist to say Asians are fantastic at mathematics?
No, it's a fact.
It's a fact. Jesus, man. It's not racist. It's just funny. It's just funny. It is what it is, man.
Everything's racist nowadays. The fact is, the spelling bee is dominated by Indian children.
E.B. Crippa saying coffee roll and a large dark roast right now. That sounds good, Tony.
You know what I hate, though, is when I buy them, I bought them once by mistake.
Coffee rolls?
No. You know, you get, because I have the Keurig and you have to get the
pods.
Yeah,
the pods.
I made the mistake of buying it doesn't matter which company makes it, but they're called breakfast blend.
Yeah, they suck, dude.
They're like drinking water, man.
Yeah, they suck.
It's like drinking a already strained tea bag. It's like no flavor in it.
You need some substance in that.
See, the only thing it's like wine. I love dark red wines, and now I'm that way with the coffee. Like my women. I like my women dark and my coffee dark. But I do put creamer in it, though. I don't drink black coffee. But I got to have the French roasts, or I got to have the Sumatra. I got to have dark roasted coffee. I don't mean burnt shit like Starbucks. Starbucks, their dark roast is...
Did someone tell you that?
We burnt this shit, and you're paying $5 for it.
Starbucks is the worst, man.
It's garbage.
I will never drink it. My dad owned 2 coffee shops, Italian social clubs. Is what
exactly, yes.
And they made real coffee. Listen, don't worry about this. Don't worry about that.
What's the number today? What's leading right now?
Yeah, I remember 14. I remember 14 years old, and the FBI walked in. That was the best. That was a fun day.
It's leading. You know, right next door to me was one of the most notorious Italian coffee shops in the country.
What's that?
Cafe International, right next
okay.
door to me. That's where all the mob guys would go in there.
Well, my dad.
It's closed, and it's right next door to my house. And I remember when I was a kid, the guys would go in there and they'd get their, the cappuccino, they'd get their espressos, they'd sit around, they'd gamble. So it was a mob hangout.
That's what they do. So my dad owned Tarsdale and Wellington, right there, Frankfurt,
Absolutely.
Common area.
That's Mayfair, yo.
So my dad owned a coffee shop there, and I'm 14 years old, and we lived well. Cash register had maybe $9 in it, but we were doing really well because what did they do? The guys went there and gambled. They play cards all day long. So in the house takes a piece of the money. But there was never any money on the table. So one day, FBI walks into place, and I'm sitting at the front. I'm the barista, right? I'm 14 years old, and a guy comes over and he goes, "You see any money changing hands over here?" I said, "Just from me and the customer." He goes, "All right, well, you see any money, you let us know." And he gives me his card, right? So I walk back and said, "Dad, this guy just came up to me and says, if I see any money anywhere changing hands, that I should give him a call." He goes, "You see any money changing hands?" He goes, "No." I said, "All right, shut the fuck up." That's exactly what he said to me. That's exactly what he said to me.
Exactly.
I wasn't running numbers. I was just it was just one of those things where it's just like, look, my dad said there's nothing on the table. What are they going to get me for? They can sit out there until the freaking cows come home. They're not going to bust me for anything. There's no money on the table. It's all chips.
Play Action Real scoped you out, man. Luigi's running numbers at his dad's coffee shop.
I had to make tips somehow. What do you want me to do, man? I used to run numbers. You say, "Hey, go play the number for me." And it'd be 50 guys handing me all this freaking money. I got a list as long as a CVS receipt. They have to play numbers at the local Sunoco.
I was trying to figure out back in the day, because you'd walk around growing up in the city, the same street I grew up on, and you'd hear people, "What's the leading number?"
What's the leading number?
Because before there were the legal lotteries, they would have the street numbers,
which
it was based on horse racing tracks, right?
Yep.
I never knew how they got them.
It was the winner of the It was the winner of the first, second, and third race
at Garden State.
At Garden State or Village. It depends, whatever track they use.
Do they still have street numbers? We still have street drugs, even though a lot of drugs are legal now. Do they still have the street number?
Yeah, you can still play the street number. Most people prefer to play the street number because it's the only way you're going to get paid without getting taxed.
Does that benefit older Pennsylvanians too?
No, but it benefits Nunzio and Vince and everybody else.
I want to know one person in the state or any state, because in Pennsylvania with the stupid groundhog, Gus the Pennsylvania lottery groundhog.
Dean's already here to lay an action. Get 500 on 444 tonight. Yeah, why the hell not? I'll take it. But I
remember as a kid growing up, I worked for a guy who worked at the Mancuso's cheese shop.
Yep.
And the owner of the place was a gambling horse degenerate, Mr. Mancuso. And I go to Broaden-Snyder and buy the Daily Telegraph every day. Remember the Daily Telegraph? Yep. That had every racetrack in the country in it. And it had all the races coming up. And that was one of my jobs. I'd have to go there and get the Daily Telegraph and bring it back. And then he would get the action somehow. I don't know. He didn't physically go to the track. And then the number. And I hear some lady walk up the street. Number 1's leading right now.
Right.
And I never played the legal street number.
I never have either, Tony. People play. It give me 800 on 316. Jesus Christ, man.
And it was like,
you know what? I'll play the lottery now. I'll take this action tonight. I don't even care.
Wasn't it like, what was the payoff? Like 500 to 1?
No, I forget what it was. I don't remember what the actual.
You played a number straight for $1. I think you won 500.
You got any degenerates out there that knew what this was?
I'm looking for a street thug. The
ones who didn't die. A street thug.
The ones who didn't die in this crappy movie on Netflix right now.
What, The Irishman? It's not crappy, Tony. It's good.
It's getting ripped by everybody now. You see who else ripped that movie now? We have an illegal street number update.
Yes, Tony.
Let's go to our mafioso desk. Boy, Forza Corrado should be listening to this, man.
Here we go, Tony.
This is right in his wheelhouse.
The numbers game, also known as the numbers racket, the Italian lottery, or the daily number, is a form of illegal gambling or illegal lottery played mostly in poor and working-class neighborhoods in the United States, which you already know is, wherein a bettor attempts to pick 3 digits that match match those that will be randomly drawn the following day. For many years, the number, in quotation marks, has been the last 3 digits of the handle, the amount of racetrack bettors placed on a race day at a major racetrack published in a racing journal and major newspapers in New York. Gamblers place bets with a bookmaker at a tavern, bar, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Where is it? I have the odds here. Hold on. Got to go down.
It's 500 to 1. I remember. You put $1 in. If you hit it straight, then you can box it, and then it's obviously the payoff's less. Just like it is in the real legal lottery. It's the same thing. Now there's like 72 numbers games, though. The daily double, and then the noon early number, the pick 4, pick 5, pick 6. Pick your ass. I mean, they got anything you could pick. You know what I'm saying?
I hate.
You know what I say when somebody comes up and says, you want to play the number?
What do you say, Tony?
I'm not going to tolerate your crap today. Exactly. There's your mafioso update, ladies and gentlemen. Or as we like to say on this show.
Not mature enough to tell it like it is.
The odds of winning, though, were 999 to 1. That's how much the odds were in the favor
because
of anybody.
Divided, it's 3. It's 3 multiplied by 3.
Yeah, but that's the odds of anybody winning. Again,
exactly.
This is bad, Tony. It's really bad.
What's bad?
No, the fact that we're
Why? It's stuff that goes on.
Yeah, I know, but still.
Emmanuel Acho has a great tweet. You remember Emmanuel Acho?
Yes.
He's now, I think he's working in, he works for ESPN. He doesn't follow me, though, that son of a bitch.
F him.
He has a video of a mother with her 2 kids at a playground, with the rubberized playground when the kids are all in swings and stuff. And the tweet is, I'm going to retweet it right now, Carson Wentz carrying the Eagles' offense in the second half. So it's like a mom grabbing the 2 boys by the shirt collars, and they're on their knees, and she's trying to get them off the playground. That's what's Carson Wentz carrying them last night, no doubt about it.
Well, this one right here, this was the win to silence all the critics, and hopefully sound off the explosion that needs to be heard around the Eagles locker room. That Howie needs to go sign some damn players. They got to bring some people in here. You got to bring some. You cannot roll out there with this skeleton crew for the rest of the season. You can't do it.
Now on the Twitter feed,
especially if somehow, some way, which is not really far gone, the L.A. Rams go into Dallas and win that game. If that happens, then you got to go sign some talent. Especially now with the line being what? No, it's blank, right? It's even.
Yeah.
That game's even.
Yep.
So you got to, again, Cowboys not favored in that game. Even money line bet for them. If you're the Philadelphia Eagles and the Cowboys take care of their end of the deal and lose to the Rams, and the Eagles take care of business on their end and they win when we take the bus trip up to Washington, you got to go all in. You got to sign whatever top premier wide receiver, running back left out there. You got to find.
Well, there aren't any premier guys sitting at home. Actually, there were premier guys sitting on their practice squad, and they didn't even know it, and they were in the same building on the same fields. By the way, dear Tony, I'm no football analyst, but one thing I noticed last night: if you catch a thrown ball, it appears to lead to better outcomes. I'll hang up and listen.
That's the fact, Jack.
Exactly. That's our buddy Ted Watson.
Might be on to something
on Twitter.
Not Randy Watson.
No.
I'm telling you, man. I'm picking up the phone. I'm calling Antonio Brown. I'm dialing 84. I'm dialing.
You dialing him up?
I'm dialing him up, man. I got to do it. I have to, bro. I have to.
Now, I don't have any Florida updates.
No, we got no Florida updates.
You know why we don't have Florida updates? Luigi doesn't look for Florida updates.
I'm sorry. I was working my ass off all night last night. I didn't have time to do that before getting here this morning. I had to schlep the dog, pick up my laundry. I'm my own crew. You know that, right? And I'm here for you.
You are a lush. I can tell by looking at you.
For the people, Tony.
Exactly
for
right.
everybody else.
Isn't that Morgan & Morgan for the people?
I believe so.
Which law firm is that?
I believe so.
One thing I've noticed, there's too many lawyers.
Way too many.
Every billboard now in every state. When we were in Atlanta, like every billboard in and around Atlanta, Georgia, is a lawyer. And a lot of them are the same guy. One guy buys 100 billboards. Here in Philly, you can't drive on any road where there's billboards and see that it's dominated by lawyers.
But the one thing, though, is it's the best Italian word, avvocato.
Avvocato. Avvocato.
Tony, I can't play the normal close, so I'm just going to play some regular music.
What are we going to play going out? Let me find something in my Spotify.
I got
I've been
something.
downloading a lot of.
I got something. How about we go with
what
a little?
Do you got? Oh, I love Jamiroquai. Is that over already?
Yeah, we're 2:00, man.
It's 1:58, man. Don't be shortchanging people.
I'm not. No Funkin' Fantasy tonight, by the way.
No Funkin' Fantasy?
No, I'm taking the week off after surgery, so no Funkin' Fantasy tonight. Next week, we'll be back at Moonshine.
Is fantasy season over yet?
We are in the first round of the playoffs just ended. So for most people, it is. Like myself, I'm out. He gone. He done.
You're done completely?
That's it, man. I gotta take.
There's no second chance lotteries and stuff.
Nothing, man. Well,
You can do daily fantasy. I'm
you can
talking
do
about
daily
leagues, right? Leagues are done.
Leagues? No, they're not done.
But people are done in their leagues.
Done.
Like you.
People are done in the leagues. Yes, like me. We're in the playoffs right now. Our buddy Dean in Clearwater. Is
he done?
He's not done, but I mean Dean in Tampa. I'm sorry, not Clearwater. He's not done.
He's in Clearwater.
He is in Clearwater, but he's not. He's not done. He's in the second round, but he's hanging on.
He's a liar.
I'm not a lion. I'm a tiger, Tony.
I
gotta
like
get
the
to work.
instrumental version here. I like this.
Yeah.
Luigi's got to go to work. I'll be dog sitting for him here.
Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. Penny will be here tomorrow. I'll make sure I drag that bitch down here and hold her by her collar so that people can see her.
In the meantime, I want to thank everybody for checking in, all the callers who called in, all the people who listened on twitch.tv, Tony Bruno Show. Don't forget, follow the show. Follow. Tell your friends. It's free. You can subscribe for free on Amazon Prime if you have Amazon Prime, which everybody does. Amazon Prime now, 24/7 they're delivering now. Sundays. My son, who lives in the middle of nowhere, was getting Amazon Prime packages delivered on Sunday, on an Eagle Sunday, and he lives way up a driveway in the middle of nowhere.
I get all my packages delivered here.
I know.
I
Even
got
the good ones.
Even Jesus Christ.
In the meantime, don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. And God bless America. It still is the greatest place on the planet's surface. We'll see you back here tomorrow. We doing tomorrow, noon to 2 again?
Noon to 2, baby.
Maybe I'll stay overtime and just let the thing run.
You gonna do that?
Well, if you have to leave.
I have to leave.
I can't do that today, though. I got too much stuff to do.
I might be able to stay a little longer. I might be able to run like 2:30 tomorrow.
All right, good.
We'll plan for that.
Beautiful.
In the meantime,
see ya. This is brilliant. Did you see this guy who looks like he's flying on a broom? Fucking brilliant.